Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Urban Pirate World. I become Kaido at the beginning. Chapter 21. As if he saw her difficulties, Zhang Chen's words immediately gave Liu Yangxin a way out. Zhang Chen would not pursue the relationship between her and the Blood Wolf group, which meant that the students in the student union would not pursue it either. This was the signal Zhang Chen gave. Liu Yangxin seemed to have grabbed a life-saving straw, and she calmed down as if she had regained her confidence. She lifted her hair from her ears and smiled. The principle is very clear. Our Lionheart Society has never had any connection with the Blood Wolf group. This person brought a group of men into the campus and killed LV Zibu and other students for no reason. It is really unforgivable. Zhang Chen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. As long as Wang Jia was left here first, there would be too many opportunities to kill him. Liu Yangxin, you know the situation. You're talking bullshit. It was you, this vicious woman, who invited my Blood Wolf group. When Wang Jia heard Liu Yangxin's words, he felt something was wrong. He hurriedly explained, but before he could finish, Liu Yangxin said again. Oh, you said I invited you, where are the witnesses? You can't just rely on your words. Liu Yangxin chuckled. The student union and the Lionheart Society, whether they knew or not, all agreed. Such a big pot was naturally thrown away. Sorry, Captain Wang, they say that the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. You should take this pot. Wang Jia was furious. He really didn't understand why these two student organizations who fought to the death suddenly united to the outside world. It was time to report Liu Yangxin's false remarks again. Wang Jia didn't believe that the students' union couldn't see that they were supporting the Lionheart Society. In Wang Jia's imagination, he had long expected that Liu Yangxin might choose to bite back and cut off his relationship with him. But when he thought of the conflict between the Lionheart Society and the student union, Liu Yangxin's move would definitely be reported and refuted by the students' union. By that time, the matter would become a big deal. One was the Blood Wolf Hunter group and the other was the Liu Xian group. Wang Jia didn't believe that Situ Liancheng would dare to do anything to him. It's a pity that the idea is beautiful, but the reality is cruel. He ignored Zhang Chen, who was regarded as a legend by the students' union. As the sky gradually darkened, it seemed that a heavy rain was coming. Wang Jia always felt that this was foreshadowing his own end. Was he going to be cheated by these students today after half a lifetime of deceit? Looking up at the sky and watching the dark clouds gradually approaching, Zhang Chen couldn't help but sigh that the spring rain really came when it was said to fall. It was a good day for killing, setting fire and destroying corpses on rainy days. It would be even better at night. Situ Liancheng stared at Wang Jia and did not hide his terrifying murderous aura. Wang Jia only felt a sea of corpses and blood coming towards him. It seemed that he heard the painful wails of monsters in his ears. It was hard to imagine how many lives this old man had slaughtered to have such a terrifying murderous aura. This is the former #1 in Qingcheng. What else do you have to say? Violating the laws of the Han Alliance and openly attacking and killing students on campus. After saying that, he was about to take action. Wang Jia was shocked. You can't kill me. I'm the deputy captain of the 10th Division of the Blood Wolf Group. Even if I'm guilty of killing people first, it should be decided by the supervisory department. How can you abuse private punishment as the head of a school? Suddenly, Situ Liancheng put down his hand that was about to swing and said with a smile, Look, you admit it. In this case, I'll arrest you and take you to the supervisory department to question you. It turned out that the principal just threatened Wang Jia deliberately. Situ Liancheng wanted to kill him, but he was one of the most powerful forces in Qingcheng. Killing Wang Jia was a small matter, but the revenge of the forces behind him should not be underestimated. No, one middle school is naturally not afraid, but if students are involved, it will be troublesome. Besides, no one of the students is hurt, but the Blood Wolf group suffered heavy casualties. If they are killed carelessly, there will definitely be constant trouble afterwards. It is said that Zhang Chen will face revenge. There is no reason to be on guard against thieves for 1,000 days. It is terrible that the students of one middle school will be assassinated after leaving the school gate in the future. The Blood Wolf hunters have been stationed outside the city for a long time, and the supervisory forces have no way to deal with them. If one middle school wants to retaliate, it must hurt them once and for all. At this time, Wang Jia, who was forced to admit that the Blood Wolf group attacked first, was taken to the supervisory department to behead Wang Jia. Then the matter was classified as a bad incident, and many forces were summoned to jointly besiege the Blood Wolf group, striving to wipe out the whole group at one time. Seeing this, Wang Jia, who knew he was fooled, had no choice but to give up resistance and was controlled by the teachers and students. He secretly sighed that he was lucky to survive. As for whether the supervisory department would judge him, it was a joke. Nowadays, demons are rampant, and the law is just a fool to deceive the civilians. It is just a plaything in front of the powerful. And it happens that the Blood Wolf hunters are one of the powerful forces in Xinjiang. I have to say that he still has a beautiful idea. He just looked at Zhang Chen and said stubbornly, "Boy, you are lucky." Zhang Chen raised his eyebrows. He didn't care what Principal Situ thought and didn't punish him directly. He analyzed the pros and cons or balanced the forces. He didn't want to listen to Hu Xiao's plot. He approached Principal Situ and asked quietly, "Principal, who is the strongest person in Xinjiang now?" Situ Liancheng looked at Zhang Chen in front of him and liked him more and more. He explained seriously, "The strongest people in various cities are generally the city lord and the head of the army branch stationed here. Under them are the leaders of the major forces in the city. Of course, there are also hidden masters. Now the strongest person in our Xinjiang is recognized as Duan Tianya, the head of the Xinjiang army branch, a major of the army." Then Principal, what is the realm of this Duan Tianya? The realm of the physical body has reached the silver level, and the strength is unfathomable. I have the style of my past. Zhang Chen curled his lips and ignored the principal's boasting. His black iron realm is approaching the limit. With physical skills, ordinary bronze realms may not be my opponents. If the firepower is fully opened with 3 colors of domineering plus the top fruit ability, it should not be too much to beat a silver level, right? It's okay. It's not that we can't have a fight with the Blood Wolf group. We should improve our strength during this period. The power provided by multi-dimensional deprivation of a single unit is too little. We must win by quantity." He stepped forward to block Wang Jia's way and said provocatively, "Why, the captain of the Blood Wolf group was taken to the supervisory department by a group of students. It's really a joke to tell others. Ha ha." Wang Jia was furious. Knowing that Situ Liancheng didn't dare to touch him, he let himself go. Laugh. If it weren't for Principal Situ's face today, I don't know how many young men like you would have died in my hands. Ha ha, many of the young people I drove to die in the monster's belly are from your school. Ha ha ha. The teachers and students gnashed their teeth but could do nothing. Zhang Chen's eyes turned cold. How about a bet between you and me? If you win, this matter will be forgiven, and you can leave with a swagger. Save face. A game of life and death. The winner lives, the loser dies. I heard that the first person I killed was your brother. Tisk tisk, he died peacefully with a single cut, and now the murderer is in front of you. Do you dare to avenge your brother? Do you dare to bet? Coward. Wang Jia, who was hit in the sore spot by Zhang Chen, could no longer suppress the murderous intent in his heart. Little fool, you want to provoke me. You win. I want to see where you get the confidence from. Principal Situ wanted to step forward to stop him but was interrupted by Zhang Chen. Principal, don't worry, I have made up my mind, and I hope everyone can be a witness to this matter. Seeing that he could not change Zhang Chen's mind, Situ Liancheng had to acquiesce. Under the notarization of Principal Situ, Zhang Chen and Wang Jia signed a life and death agreement. Coming to the long-missed martial arts arena again, Wang Jia even set up his mobile phone to broadcast live. Tag his mobile phone friends. Although it would be bad to spread it, there was no way. Wang Jia could not guarantee whether Situ Liancheng would keep his promise. It would be bad if he was attacked from outside the field at the critical moment. The temporary station of the Blood Wolf Hunter group near the monster defense line. Everyone come and see. Brother Jia is broadcasting live. Let me see, what's going on? Isn't Brother Jia on a mission to take people to teach a disobedient student union in No. 1 middle school today? Wait, isn't this number 1 middle school? Brother Jia is fighting against a student who is still wet behind the ears. A sharp-eyed member of the Blood Wolf group said in disbelief. Wet behind the ears. Look at the kid opposite Brother Jia with 8 abdominal muscles and muscles all over his body. You call this wet behind the ears? The noise in the stronghold immediately attracted the attention of the top management. In the tent, a burly man with dark skin, sinister face and thick hair was drinking from a wine jug. This man was the commander of the Blood Wolf Hunter Group, one of the strongest fighters in Qingcheng, Duan Lang, known as the Bloody Death God. Looking at the live broadcast in front of him, Duan Lang smashed the wine jug hard. This Wang Jia is really going backwards. He can't even do such a small thing to play a duel with a young boy, and he's still playing live broadcast. Whether we win or lose, we have lost face for our Blood Wolf group. In the garden of the back mountain of the He family. Master, come and see Zhang Chen and the deputy captain of the Blood Wolf group are fighting. A servant rushed over with a mobile phone. He Wei, who was practicing the 7-injury fist under the waterfall, jumped out of the waterfall and watched the live broadcast seriously. The Blood Wolf group is a first-rate force in Qingcheng, and all the captains under its command are bronze masters. Zhang Chen, men like you must not die. The scene returns to the martial arts arena. Boy, I didn't want to kill you, but you are the first one to seek death. Don't think that you are ignorant of the world just because you were a genius in school. Today I will teach you what rules are. What is decorum? HMPH, since you dared to threaten my family, you have already been killed. Zhang Chen snorted coldly, but in his mind, he was thinking about beating Wang Jia to death. According to his years of reading novels, it must be that after beating the young, the old will come, and after beating the old, the ancestors will come, and they will give experience one by one. It seems that there will be a lot of trouble during this period. I like it. Seeing Zhang Chen in a daze, Wang Jia suddenly felt insulted. Boy, where are you looking? Wang Jia's murderous aura gushed out like a tide, and he stabbed Zhang Chen fiercely with his finger instead of a sword. The move was fierce, and the air was pierced with bursts of explosions wherever it passed. In a flash, it reached Zhang Chen's face. In a hurry, Zhang Chen bent down and dodged this fierce attack with an iron bridge. The sharp energy swept over Zhang Chen, who was approaching, and he couldn't open his eyes. The energy that Zhang Chen avoided shot fiercely under the stone slab and exploded a thumb-sized, bottomless hole. Zhang Chen turned over and jumped to distance himself from Wang Jia, with a solemn look. This old guy is really good. Boy, you are quite good at dodging. I want to see where you can hide from this move, Wang Jia said with a grin. Wang Jia flew into the air and waved his hands non-stop. Finger gun, meteor shower. In an instant, dozens of cross-shaped finger forces rotated rapidly and attacked Zhang Chen's body. Instantly covered Zhang Chen's upper, middle and lower 3 roads, and there was no escape. Maximum power iron block, moveless as a mountain. Zhang Chen's blood was flowing at high speed, and his muscles suddenly condensed at high intensity. The power of the super-dimensional body was fully released. Boom boom boom. The powerful shock wave shattered the rocks under Zhang Chen's feet. The roar of explosions continued to sound. Deep pits were hid in the earth. Smoke was everywhere. Zhang Chen was shocked and retreated step by step. The Blood Wolf group was stunned. This is Brother Jia so cruel. He started to use his ultimate right away, leaving no way for the opponent to survive. Duan Lang laughed and said, yes. It should end earlier like this. The more people watch, the more embarrassing it will be. All the teachers and students were worried. Wang Jia's attack was too terrifying. Except for Situ Liancheng, no one present dared to take this move head-on. Situ Liancheng stared at the situation on the field nervously, and was extremely worried. He would never allow Zhang Chen, a good seedling, to get into trouble. If necessary, he would save Zhang Chen even if he betrayed his promise in front of the live broadcast. He Wei's eyes condensed. Wang Jia's move was too terrifying. He felt that if he was to fight against Wang Jia, even if he learned the 7-injury fist, the odds would be 30 to 70. That's right. He Wei was killed 7 times in a row in 3 minutes. Can Zhang Chen survive? He Wei murmured. Wang Jia panted and stopped. Boy, a lion fights a rabbit with all its strength. I didn't expect that I would come up just use your ultimate skill, ha ha ha. I want to see if you can survive or not. The smoke was suddenly dispersed by a momentum. Zhang Chen strode out, and except for the red fingerprints and messy hair, he was completely unharmed. Zhang Chen curled his lips. The old man caught him off guard. Looking at the blood bar that was partially deducted, it turned out that the strongest illusion iron block was really worthy of its reputation. It was useless. Then he looked at Wang Jia on the opposite side and smiled disdainfully. Old man, you are so weak. You are scraping me. At this time, Wang Jia's chin was almost shocked. How could it be possible? He was actually unharmed. He said expressionlessly. What a joke, I just used a little bit of force just now. Just warming up. Look at how embarrassed you are, you can't even take one of my moves. What a coincidence, I did the same, I only used 30% of my strength to block your finger gun. Both sides were equally good at talking. Situ Liancheng had a strange look on his face, others couldn't see it, but he could see it clearly. Wang Jia swung the finger gun so hard that his hand was almost smoking, and Zhang Chen's face was almost red from using all his strength. What Zhang Chen didn't know was that the scene of him taking Wang Jia's finger gun had already shocked everyone in the live broadcast room. If I'm not mistaken, this boy named Zhang Chen just took a whole shot from Captain Wang Jia of the Blood Wolf Corps. With his energy released, he can be called a physical master. In the eyes of sword practitioners, he is no less than a swordsman who can release sword energy. Just relying on a piece of iron to take so many shots of energy. How terrifying is Zhang Chen's physical body? He is simply a monster. Everyone in the live broadcast room was amazed at the strength of both sides. I thought it was a one-sided slaughter, but I didn't expect it to be evenly matched. Old strong and new monster. Who is stronger and weaker? As the battle unfolded, more and more people poured into the live broadcast room. At this time on the battlefield, Zhang Chen grinned and said, "It's impolite not to return the favor. Try my trick, ha ha ha." After that, he also jumped into the air, using the moon step to spin in the air at high speed and kick out waves of terrifying slashing waves. Maximum power, land kick, Buzhou Mountain severed. Countless flashes flashed around Zhang Chen's body, bombarding Wang Jia from all directions like covering the sky and the sun. Finger gun, meteor shower. Wang Jia felt a headache when he saw the slashing wave in front of him, and could only use the finger gun to fight it madly. Finger force and slashing wave fought madly. The collisions continued to cause huge noises. Deep pits and cracks were constantly blown out of the martial arts field, even spreading outside the field. Situ Liancheng's face changed. Everyone retreat quickly. Before he finished speaking, several slashing finger forces fell rapidly on the audience seats, and Situ Liancheng instantly turned into a phantom and transferred dozens of teachers and students in front to a safe place in a split second. Before everyone could react, there was a bang, and the place where they had just stood had already become a ruin. Everyone was immediately terrified, and looked at the two people on the stage with fear. Too strong. Especially Zhang Chen could actually fight such a master to such an extent. All the teachers were ashamed of themselves. Both sides had tried their best under normal circumstances at this time. Outside the live broadcast room at this time, Duan Lang, the great admiral of the Blood Wolf group who was drinking, licked his mouth and looked at Situ Liancheng in the live broadcast room who saved dozens of people in an instant. A superhuman speed fruit ability user. You used to be the strongest in Qingcheng. How much strength do you have left now? I really want to fight you. The duel was going on fiercely at this time. Hundreds of thousands of people poured into the live broadcast room in a short period of time. Looking at the destroyed martial arts arena in the video. Is that really the combat power that a high school student can achieve? Who among the younger generation of Qingcheng can compete with him? He is simply a human-shaped beast. Perhaps only the genius of the Bai family can suppress him. That unreasonable natural system. At this time in the martial arts arena, Wang Jia, who directly felt Zhang Chen's strength, had already complained bitterly. Both sides have been fighting with all their strength for half an hour. Wang Jia has been panting for a long time, and the high-intensity battle has reduced his physical strength. The strength of his moves has weakened. On the other hand, Zhang Chen still maintains the attack strength of his heyday. His breath is not disordered at all. This guy is a monster. How can he continue to attack with such intensity? Thinking of this, Wang Jia actually had a trace of fear in his heart. The pent-up energy in his chest suddenly released. There is a flaw. Zhang Chen's eyes condensed, and he keenly sensed that Wang Jia's offensive was disordered. The frequency of the powerful Lanjiao slashed towards Wang Jia without cost. Wang Jia could no longer withstand the countless slashes and slashed him away fiercely. The violent explosion destroyed the martial arts field again. The hesitant person is weak. Idiot. Zhang Chen, who stopped the offensive, couldn't help but exhale deeply. Zhang Chen's physical strength also dropped faster than usual by turning on the maximum power. A strong airflow suddenly emerged from the depths of the explosion and blew away the surrounding gravel. Wang Jia's figure appeared again. At this time, Wang Jia's clothes were torn, his body was crisscrossed with bloodstains, and his limbs were transformed into compressed springs like fine iron. Kid, you can force me to activate the fruit ability. You are proud enough. That's right, I am the superhuman spring fruit ability user. Spring Man. Hey, your head is broken, what are you talking to yourself about? Zhang Chen complained to Wang Jia, but his body was tense again. HMPH, die under the power of my spring. The springs of Wang Jia's legs were extremely compressed, and he kicked the ground hard. The powerful reaction force immediately blew out a deep pit. With a whoosh, Wang Jia's voice disappeared from Zhang Chen's sight. Listening to the sound of breaking wind and the sound of the ground being hit and exploded, Zhang Chen remained unchanged and stood on the spot with full alert. The sound of breaking wind gradually formed a storm that trapped Zhang Chen. The fierce gale made the onlookers feel a stinging pain in their eyes. People spoke on the barrage. Who is this kid? He forced Wang Jia to use his fruit ability. I heard he is one of the strongest young generation in Qingcheng. He is proud enough to be able to hurt Wang Jia in the bronze realm with the black iron realm. It's a pity that the fruit he got is the weakest fruit, the fish fruit. Otherwise, the outcome is still uncertain. In this way, Wang Jia's combat power will increase greatly after the fruit is used, while Zhang Chen will not change. Zhang Chen will lose. Sandcoin, I know this Zhang Chen. He has a powerful natural flame fruit, but he doesn't want the Superman type heavy fruit. He claims to be powerful, but I don't know what's wrong with his brain that he chose the weakest fish fruit. Upstairs. What are you barking about? Zhang Chen can cross the border and beat Wang Jia in the bronze realm without relying on the fruit. What can the fruit do? Can you do it? At this time, Wang Jia was in a very happy mood as he shuttled through the storm. What's wrong, Zhang Chen? Where's your arrogant expression? Ha ha ha. Zhang Chen kept dodging the incoming strong winds without saying a word, and still Xiao Shi Tian Ren. It seems that I can't defeat this man with just physical skills and physique. Just thinking about it, suddenly the storm on the field rolled up endless dust and covered Zhang Chen's sight. A huge dust storm tore from behind Zhang Chen. But Wang Jia took out a green dagger from behind. Zhang Chen, you are indeed very strong. But there is a note between you and me. Only one can survive, and using any means necessary in battle is the law of nature. I have blocked the sight of this place with smoke and dust, so don't blame me for being ruthless. I have covered the blade of this knife with gourd vine toxin and dried it for 49 days. The person who is stabbed will first suffer from nerve and muscle paralysis, hallucinations, and finally collapse, cardiac arrest, difficulty breathing and death from suffocation. You better be careful. Quote, very insidious, old man. But you are right. I agree with using any means necessary. I count you as a chess winner. Zhang Chen's face was solemn, and he carefully avoided the attacking blade to prevent it from getting close. Just bending down to block the dagger that was slashing towards his face, he saw Wang Jia's sinister smile. Zhang Chen, you are still too young. Have you ever heard, the gun is fast at 7 steps away, and the gun is accurate and fast within 7 steps. Quote. Wang Jia pressed the handle of the knife with his thumb and pushed hard. The blade separated from both sides to reveal a dark hole. American II. Zhang Chen was shocked to see a tongue of fire spurting out of the dagger and rushing straight to Zhang Chen's face. There was no escape. The gunpowder exploded violently. The entire martial arts field shook like an earthquake. Billowing black smoke rushed straight into the sky. The dazzling flames filled everyone's eyes. The hot air waves pushed the onlookers hard, and the glass of the teaching building in the distance was shattered. Ha 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 ha, regardless of whether it is despicable or not. In this era, the winner is always the king. Wang Jia, who was covered in burns and blood, laughed wildly. Killing such a powerful genius, he felt extremely happy. He spent a lot of money to buy that bullet from the black market, which contained banned items of the Han Alliance. A drop of 0.001% of explosive rock. The extremely suppressed emotions were released, and the whole person seemed to be sublimated. The martial arts barrier that was barely able to make any progress seemed to loosen slowly. Situ Liancheng was shocked and said, "Wang Jia, are you playing tricks? Principal Situ is very clear. Who stipulated that weapons are not allowed in life and death fights? Everyone in the live broadcast room is watching. Don't mess around." Quote. Situ Liancheng was so anxious that he ignored Wang Jia, who was about to fly and look for Zhang Chen in the billowing black smoke. Suddenly, a terrifying chill swept across the world. The strong sense of oppression made everyone's heartbeat seem to skip a beat. It made people's backs cold. Even Situ Liancheng felt the trembling from his soul. It was as if some supreme terrifying existence was about to descend on this world. The violent wind was blowing. The sky was covered with dark clouds. Billions of thunders flashed. The doomsday scene of destroying the world made everyone collapse on the ground. Their minds were blank. The people in the live broadcast room were stunned by the scene in the video, and the barrage was empty for a while. In the thick black smoke, two shocking golden vertical pupils seemed like a never-ending flame in the darkness. Roar. Quote. A fierce roar blew away the black smoke. The strong roar made everyone's scalp numb. The terrifying sound waves turned into shock waves and destroyed everything along the way. Facing the roar, Situ Liancheng and Wang Jia were forced to retreat dozens of meters. A nearly 100-meter-long giant hovered in the sky, looking down at all living things. Head with deer horns, body covered with green scales. Calling the wind and rain, flying in the sky and driving thunder, this is a dragon. Quote. Wang Jia collapsed to the ground in fear. "You are Zhang Chen." Principal Situ Liancheng's eyes were filled with disbelief. "Yes, Principal, I am Zhang Chen, the user of the fish fruit's mythical beast species azure dragon form." A magnificent voice came from the giant beast's mouth. This statement shocked the inside and outside of the live broadcast room. Unheard of mythical beast species fruit. Breaking the iron rule of the weakest fruit name for 800 years. There is no new mythical beast species in the known devil fruit encyclopedia. Suddenly I feel like I want to worship you. What's going on? Don't mention it's you upstairs, I'm kneeling. My mom asked me why I was kneeling to watch the live broadcast. Whose animal type transformation starts at 100 meters? All the known mythical beast species Phoenix, Big Buddha, Big Mouth True God, are all scum in front of Azure Dragon. I would like to call it the strongest fruit of the contemporary animal type. Blood Wolf Hunter Group Admiral Duan Lang looked at the nearly 100-meter-long behemoth in the live broadcast screen and crushed the wine pot in shock. The legendary Azure Dragon. What a terrifying power. No, it's because his fruit ability has been developed to a certain extent that it has such expressiveness. Monster. It's only been a few days since the fruit awakening ceremony of number 1 middle school. Can the fruit be developed to such an extent? The scene returns to the martial arts field, and Zhang Chen's terrifying sense of oppression is pressing on Wang Jia's body. Looking at Wang Jia, who is as small as an ant below, Zhang Chen said jokingly. "What's wrong, old man? You heard that you are very brave. They all call you Brother Jia." "Impossible, impossible. The fish fruit can't be so strong. Ha ha, fake, all fake." From hope to despair, Wang Jia's mood was repeatedly destroyed like a roller coaster. Looking at the unconscious and crazy Wang Jia below, Zhang Chen's head turned cold. Nothing is impossible. Frog in the well, you were right about one thing. In this world, the winner is the king, and the weak have no place to stand. Roaring thunder. Zhang Chen roared to the sky with his dragon head. In an instant, the thunder in the sky seemed to be pulled and blasted towards Zhang Chen's surroundings. The terrifying thunder raged. Countless twisted lightning connected the sky and the earth like a beam of light. The deafening roar resounded through the sky. The civilians near the school were trembling with fear, and some even knelt down to worship the blue dragon floating in the sky, praying for God's forgiveness. Wang Jia, who was locked by the thunder, used the spring force frantically to escape. The instinct for survival made him run faster than usual. The number of thunders was too dense and he didn't dare to resist the natural disaster. The offensive and defensive situation was completely reversed. Looking at Wang Jia, who was running away with his head in his arms, Zhang Chen didn't intend to let him go. The dragon's mouth inhaled again. Bad wine. Then Zhang Chen spit out a large number of blue wind blades. The destructive power of the wind blades that cut gold and iron is far better than Lanjiao. Huge gullies were carved out on the earth. Thunder and wind blades completely locked Wang Jia in all directions. In the sky and underground. Wang Jia has no way to escape. He is about to die. Wang Jia closed his eyes in fear. No, I surrender. I have a lot of money in the bank. I use the money to buy my life. The thunder wind blade disappeared strangely, and a huge dragon claw pressed against Wang Jia's forehead. The brutal power gathered between his fingers. Zhang Chen's indifferent voice sounded. Bank card password. Wang Jia, who was sweating all over, felt the threat of death and took out his bank card tremblingly. The password is 6 sixes. There are 10 million Baileys in the card. I use this money to buy my life. Before he finished speaking. Haha, idiot, even if you die, this money will still be mine. The huge dragon claw exerted force suddenly. It smashed Wang Jia's head with one blow. Only his unfinished words remained in the air, you are not trustworthy. Isn't this what you taught me? Use any means. Zhang Chen muttered to himself. Everyone in the live broadcast room was amazed at the power of Zhang Chen's azure dragon fruit and terrified at his cruelty. How terrible, powerful and cruel. I seem to see the rise of a peerless fierce god in the future. The leaders of the major forces in Qingcheng all told their subordinates that Zhang Chen must not be easily offended. Zhang Chen, who had exited the azure dragon form, returned to human form again, picked up the bank card on Wang Jia's body, laughed, and turned around to see the mobile phone that was still live broadcasting nearby. When he thought of the scene of his extortion and destruction of the body being broadcast live, he was immediately full of black lines, stepped forward and stepped on Wang Jia's last relic. What level? Use the same brand of mobile phone as me. Looking at the teachers and students who gradually surrounded him with awe in their eyes, Zhang Chen smiled, and his health bar was almost at the bottom. If it weren't for the last moment to turn on the transformation and greatly increase his vitality, it would be like drinking a bottle of life recovery potion on the spot. Otherwise, he would have been GG at this moment. It's all over. Everyone. Chang, he managed to say something. Cheng Dongqing, Ji Yu Qingying and other members of the student union surrounded him and asked about his well-being. Zhang Chen handed the bank card to Ji Yu Qingying and told her the password, asking her to withdraw the money. Ji Yu Qingying understood and quickly transferred the money to Zhang Chen's bank card through mobile banking. Zhang Chen came to Situ Liancheng and said apologetically, I'm really sorry, principal, for making a mess of the school. The 5 million Baileys in this card will be counted as the cost of repairing the martial arts field. Situ Liancheng didn't say anything polite to him after hearing this. I really can't refuse to admit my age. Your strength is beyond my imagination. The future world belongs to you. Zhang Chen hurriedly waved his hands modestly and hypocritically after hearing this, saying that there are always people outside the world, and that he still needs to work hard before he succeeds. Not far away, looking at Zhang Chen, who was being adored by everyone, Liu Yangxin leaned against the wall with a lonely look, and didn't know what was in his mind. At this time, a heated discussion was being held inside the Blood Wolf group. The protagonist of the meeting was Zhang Chen, who was so powerful in the live broadcast before. Duan Lang, who was sitting in the main seat, crossed his arms and looked at the cadres under his command. What do you think about Zhang Chen? Tell me. Kang Wuxin, one of the 2 deputy leaders of the Blood Wolf group, thought seriously and said, Grand Admiral. Zhang Chen is undoubtedly a genius who has never appeared in the world. He is powerful and ruthless at a young age. In fact, we don't need to make enemies with him unless it is necessary. This matter was caused by Wang Jia. Now Wang Jia is dead, and he died in a life and death game where he signed a life and death agreement. It's better to end it here and not care about him. Huang Badian, another deputy leader of the Blood Wolf group, who was sitting at the lower right corner of Duan Lang, immediately stood up and refuted, if today, the whole people of Qingcheng are laughing at us. Our captain was killed in public during a live broadcast. If this matter is not dealt with, how can our Blood Wolf group convince the public? Brother, I think we still need to kill Zhang Chen. To prevent accidents and ensure that there is no risk, we should gather all the brothers in the group. Find an opportunity for all members to surround him and block the retreat. A total of 25 captains from the 13 major teams will surround and kill Zhang Chen together. The 2 deputy captains will snipe any possible helpers. Brother, you will be the last one to take charge to prevent accidents. Quote. Wow, everyone exclaimed, this is the living devil. At this time, the captain of the first squad, Meng Bukchun, whispered, isn't it a bit too exaggerated that the third boss is so ostentatious? After all, he is just a genius. His fruit ability seems to be very expressive, but Wang Jia is not very strong among the bronze level, and he is even at the bottom among our captains. Many of you here can completely defeat Wang Jia. The second captain advocates not to pursue Zhang Chen, and the third captain's pursuit is too exaggerated. I say we should compromise and send the captain of the 10th squad to test the water first. If it doesn't work, send people to assassinate him one by one. If it doesn't work, there is me. There are 2 deputy captains above me, and above the deputy captains there are. Before he finished speaking, Duan Lang and the 2 deputy captains gave him a big bag each. You Calabash brothers saved Grandpa, and you gave them one by one, right? You said, have you never read novels? How can you say such a stupid idea? Give experience, right? You think we are weird for experience, right? After defeating Wang Jia, Zhang Chen returned home, took off his clothes and fell directly on the warm and comfortable big bed. This battle was indeed dangerous. Wang Jia was indeed a strong man who had been fighting with people and monsters for many years. He was insidious, cunning and cruel. Zhang Chen, who had always been at ease in fighting, still had lingering fears when facing that American II. This left a huge shadow on Zhang Chen's young heart, who had always been friendly with the pure and friendly young students. I won't pretend to be cool next time. See what I gained this time. Ding. A total of 6 people were killed in this battle, 5 black iron creatures and 1 bronze creature. The multi-dimensional deprivation was calculated as follows. Strength plus 7, speed plus 6, defense plus 5, precision plus 4, finger gun proficiency plus 600, calculation completed. The host panel is updated as follows. Name, Zhang Chen. Race, human. Level, black iron. Basic attributes. Strength, 912. Speed, 708. Defense, 765. Life, 800. Energy, 905. Spirit, 800. Life recovery. Recover 1 health point per second. Devil fruit, fish fruit fantasy beast blue dragon form, fruit development degree 10%. Armament hockey primary, 0.001. Observation hockey primary, 0.001. Overlord hockey primary, 0.001. Affected by the super-dimensional divine body talent, the divine attributes can be converted into the total amount of domineering aura 100%. Physical skills. Shaving. Intermediate 10/1000. Iron block. Intermediate 510/1000. Paper drawing. Intermediate 300/1000. Moon step. Intermediate 0.001. Mist kick. Intermediate 0.001. Finger gun. Advanced 0.001. Basic stick technique. Intermediate 600/1000. Zhang Chen looked at the system panel in front of him and fell into deep thought. From the panel, the breakthrough of the basic attributes was negligible. Physical skills were quite generous, and the finger gun broke through to the advanced stage. The progress of domineering aura and fruit was not given at all. Stretching out his palm, Zhang Chen could feel that his fingers were full of power. It seemed that just a slight shake of the fingers could produce high-frequency vibrations. A stream of energy penetrated the body. The advanced stage of the finger gun made him reach a level comparable to Wang Jia. He can also release the chi force to attack remotely like the Lanjiao. Looking at his hands, Zhang Chen was very satisfied. If he could improve the finger gun again to the perfect state, I am afraid that he could reach the point where the chi force is continuous and the 10 fingers can fire continuously. This is completely a smaller version of the 6 Meridians Divine Sword. After the excitement, Zhang Chen calmed down and began to think about how to improve his strength next. Now I can't learn anything useful from school. I have mastered all 6 styles and obtained the fruit ability. Those students can't beat me even if they use one hand together. Even multi-dimensional deprivation can't scrape a drop of oil. Are you going to see the world outside the high wall, the monster defense line and the misty Great Wall? Before that, I need to find a place to see what level my strength has reached. After making up his mind, Zhang Chen's tense nerves completely relaxed and he felt sleepy all of a sudden. The battle with Wang Jia consumed too much of his physical strength, energy and health. Well, let's take a nap first. In the outside world, the video of Zhang Chen's transformation into Qinglong has been further spread, and it has been a hot topic on the internet. The video was edited and added with super exciting music, especially the terrifying oppressive feeling when Qinglong appeared. It was simply exciting. Horns like a deer, head like a camel, eyes like a rabbit, neck like a snake, belly like a clam, scales like a fish, claws like an eagle, paws like a tiger, ears like a cow. 100 meters long, able to fly, good at transformation, able to call the wind and rain. I actually saw the totem dragon of our Han Alliance for thousands of years. This destructive power, this ability to control natural disasters. Too terrifying. Is this the power that a high school student can achieve? I, a college student, would have fainted in the toilet long ago. The future pride of heaven, the small city of Qingcheng really has a dragon. Not a metaphor. Although I'm not an expert, I still want to popularize science. I don't know what's going on with such a powerful fruit at the beginning. After all, I said at the beginning that I'm not an expert. Listening to your words is like listening to Zhuangzhou's purification. 2 masters upstairs. I understand that where there is a sleeping dragon, there must be a phoenix chick. This year's college entrance examination, whoever meets him will wish him good luck. Some experts even said that standing on all the known the azure dragon, the pinnacle of the mythical beast species, the name of the strongest fruit of the animal system today is undoubtedly the fish fruit, the mythical beast species azure dragon. In the imperial palace of the Han dynasty, the distant capital of Zhongzhou, in the imperial observatory. Yuan Changong, the left prime minister of the Han dynasty, one of the 5 elders of the Han alliance, and the lord of the imperial observatory. Standing with his hands behind his back, he muttered to himself while watching Zhang Chenmian, who was showing his divine power and transforming into the azure dragon in the video. A time of great contention. The pride of heaven is emerging. At this moment, a boy about 18 years old knocked on the door and came in, glanced at the video playing on his mobile phone, and then looked at Yuan Changong respectfully without looking away. The boy was handsome and gentle as jade. Teacher, you're looking for me. Tianfang, you're here. Yuan Changong turned and looked at Li Tianfang. A trace of kindness appeared on his calm and unmoved face. The baby he had picked up from the ice and snow had grown up to this size. But he became very serious again in an instant. With a wave of his hand, a powerful barrier enveloped both parties. Tianfang, you must remember what I am going to say to you next. Yesterday, when I was observing the sky at night, I felt something in my heart. I am afraid that there is a huge danger hidden in the imperial capital, which even I cannot fully perceive. You can leave the city immediately and stay away from the imperial capital. Li Tianfang was stunned and looked incredulous. Teacher, how could it be? There are many masters at the foot of the Han Emperor in the imperial capital. The army headquarters is stationed here, and the 3 generals of the army representing the highest combat power of the Han Alliance are patrolling the world. With a teacher who is so knowledgeable and insightful, and whose physiognomy has reached the peak of the world. Who dares to be presumptuous? Yuan Changong shook his head and took out a jade-made gold book and handed it to Li Tianfang. This is my natal treasure that I have nurtured for many years, the river map and Luo Shu. You must carry it with you, it can help you avoid danger and seek good fortune, and it will be of great benefit to your future divination practice. As the only disciple of my lineage, you must study it carefully. Don't let my lineage be cut off. Teacher, you. Li Tianfang looked at Yuan Changong, who was pale as if he was entrusted with an orphan. The river map and Luo Shu are the treasures passed down from generation to generation in the lineage of physiognomy. Only the leader of the lineage of physiognomy can wield them. It is the symbol of the strongest physiognomist in the world. Physiognomy ability cannot be obtained through practice. It is a kind of talent similar to a special physique, like the blood of the overlord, which is a special power. For example, some people are born to listen to the voices of all things. Some people are born to drive all beasts. Until now, there are only Yuan Chunggong and Li Tianfeng, the master and apprentice, in the lineage of physiognomy. Teacher, what happened? The Han Emperor is old, and the situation is about to fall. Disciple, protect the river map and Luoshu. Survival or destruction. The gears of fate have turned, and the rulers of the next 1,000 years have appeared. The fate of mankind will be determined in this era. This is the best era and the worst era. Hope and despair are two sides of the same coin. Take the river map and Luoshu to find the master of destiny you think. Go and assist him. Zhang Chen slept until the sun was high in the sky and woke up naturally. He was just wondering why his sister Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't make a naughty noise to wake him up today. But the phone kept vibrating and sending out message notification sounds. When he turned on the phone, the screen and software were all displayed in black and white. Zhang Chen's pupils shrank as he looked at the overwhelming news push on the phone. One of the 5 elders in the highest power center of the Han Alliance. The left Prime Minister of the Han Dynasty. The Lord of the Imperial Observatory, who is known as the Wise Prime Minister. Yuan Chunggong suddenly died last night. This man, who was at the peak of physiognomy and had predicted the invasion of monsters and fog countless times, helped humans avoid disasters again and again. Died silently in the heavily guarded and tightly guarded Han Palace. Who can kill such an existence silently? Zhang Chen still has a basic understanding of the information of this world. As a legendary figure, Yuan Chunggong not only has a great attainment in physiognomy, but also predicts the future, which can be called a god. When he was young, he was one of the 3 former generals of the army who represented the highest combat power of the Han Alliance. The news said that Yuan Chunggong's natal treasure, the river map and Luo Shu, was stolen. According to the records, the last person who met Yuan Chunggong was his apprentice. According to the investigation of the supervisory department, witnesses said that they saw his apprentice suddenly leave the imperial capital and disappear after Yuan Chunggong's death. The supervisory department suspected that his apprentice attacked and killed the left Prime Minister Yuan Chunggong for the treasure, the river map and Luo Shu. Now the Han Alliance is looking for his apprentice throughout the country. Zhang Chen looked at the suspect in the photo on the mobile phone news and shook his head. The boy in the photo was about 18 or 19 years old, and he was full of energy and looked like a spring breeze. What a handsome boy. Even I feel inferior to him. But how can a real strong man die from a trick like sneak attack? Even if he is, it is impossible for an 18 or 19-year-old boy to deal with him. Sneak attack can only be done by strong men of the same level or even higher level masters. Zhang Chen looked solemn, and the arrogance that rose from defeating Bronze Wang Jia disappeared. This world is still too dangerous. Even such a strong man can't guarantee his own safety, let alone me. Today, I will go to Qingcheng Combat Strength Appraisal Center to take a good look at my strength. Prepare to leave the city. I returned to the living room and found that my father, mother and sister were also looking at newspapers and mobile phones with solemn expressions. Father Zhang Yuansheng smoked a dry pipe with smoke all over his body, and suddenly slammed the table. This fool, this traitor, he killed his master and the left Prime Minister for a treasure. We humans have only had a few days of peace. Those monsters slaughtered the city. If the left Prime Minister had not predicted the disaster in advance during the fog invasion, how could we have the stable life we have now? After saying this, he burst into tears again. Mother Zhang Lin also had red eyes and held her sister in her arms without saying a word. For the older generation, in the past 40 years in their dire straits, although humans had already recovered and built many cities, life was far from as stable as it is now. The ferocious monsters wandering outside the city, the sudden beast tide, the fog monsters that may invade at any time, too many uncertain threats still cannot bring them a sense of security even if they live in the city. Fortunately, the left Prime Minister Yuan Chunggong. The Imperial Astronomical Observatory was established with the Hichu Luoshu, the treasure of the physiognomy lineage, as the core. Monitor the movements of the fog monsters in the world. Promptly transmit possible disasters to major cities anytime and anywhere. Timely deployment of troops and generals has brought the peace and stability of the Han Alliance today. When Zhang Chen thought of this, he felt that there was a conspiracy behind Yuan Chunggong's death. Yuan Chunggong died, and the river map and Luoshu were stolen. Doesn't it mean that the Imperial Observatory is completely paralyzed? Humanity will return to the situation of more than 40 years ago, facing the invasion of monsters and fog anytime and anywhere. Humanity's early warning defense line has collapsed. When Zhang Chen thought of this, his heart became heavier. He simply comforted his parents, knowing that they might not be able to accept the facts for a while, and handed the bank card in his hand to his parents, lying that he won the first place in the school competition. The school rewarded 5 million Baileys. The old couple was stunned and praised Zhang Chen for his promising future. Seeing his parents come out of their sadness and burst into tears again, Zhang Chen couldn't help but sigh that the 5 million was worth it. His younger sister Zhang Xiaoxiao even hugged Zhang Chen's thighs directly, looking up at Zhang Chen with little stars in her eyes. Guo Guo, now that you have money, take me out to eat delicious food, Zhang Xiaoxiao pinched her throat and shouted in a cute voice. Seeing the mischievous sister transformed into a caring little cotton-padded jacket, Zhang Chen said generously, Buy. Buy whatever you want, eat whatever you want, brother will take you out to eat. It's true that money can make the devil work, my lovely sister is back again. Then, after saying goodbye to his parents, he took his sister to the snack street. He originally wanted to take his parents with him, but unfortunately Zhang Yuansheng and Zhang Lin had to work overtime at the company, so he had to give up. After eating a buffet with his sister, Zhang Chen had a very good appetite. The two of them ate a lot, and the plates were piled full. Of course, most of them went into Zhang Chen's stomach. The customers dining around him said that they had met a big eater. Ice cream, steak, and even egg fried rice, Zhang Chen accepted everything. The people around him were stunned. Who would not eat expensive food at a buffet and show off drinks and fried rice? Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at the strange eyes of the crowd, even her face was a little embarrassed. She reached out and pulled Zhang Chen's sleeve, muttering in a low voice. No, brother, eat less, if not, you can eat slower. There was no way. The food eaten was quickly transformed into energy under the transformation of the super-dimensional body, part of which replenished Zhang Chen's lost physical strength, and the other part was stored and hidden inside the body. This is understandable. Strength will not disappear or be created out of thin air. Even in the high-level martial arts world, which does not follow the law of conservation of energy, the various sources of strength are also based on something. The source of one's own strong and constant life recovery speed is also taken from the external aura and the energy inside oneself, so that one can quickly recover life value while being hurt. Although most of the absorbed power is external power. After eating a lot with Zhang Xiaoxiao, I went shopping in the mall and finally bought a lot of beast meat. This thing is rich in nutrition and extremely nourishing to the body. It is a must for many warriors to supplement their strength in daily practice. Zhang Chen bought it to make up for his parents and sister and improve their meals. After sending his sister home, Zhang Chen planned to go to the Qingcheng Combat Power Appraisal Center for a stroll. The bright and clean hall was bustling with people. When she came to the counter, a young girl in uniform, with a beautiful face and a smile on her face, smiled gently at the burly Zhang Chen in front of her. Uncle, are you here for combat power assessment? Uncle, your whole family is uncles. Zhang Chen looked at the innocent girl in front of him, who was about 19 or 20 years old, with big eyes and a smile on her lips. He exhaled deeply. Zhang Chen, the world is very beautiful, don't be impatient. After giving some psychological hints and easing his mood, Zhang Chen said politely and with a smile. Ah, yes, Auntie, I am here for combat power assessment, but I have to correct that I am only 18 years old. It is said that the assessment center is so casual in recruiting for simple positions now. It really recruits anyone with bad eyesight, haha, right, Auntie. Zhang Chen was merciless. The girl opposite was obviously twitching at the corner of her mouth. She tried hard to control her expression and not lose control, and kept a gritted smile. This guy is so poisonous. He just misjudged his age. He is full of muscles and looks fierce. Anyone would think he is an uncle. The girl Lu Meng thought secretly. I'm so sorry, you look mature, but I still want to say that I'm only 2 years older than you. You can call me sister, and I'm not a part-time or temporary worker, I'm a regular employee. The girl smiled triumphantly. Zhang Chen was so upset that he didn't want to argue with this obviously mentally handicapped girl anymore. Okay, whether you're an aunt or a sister, I want to do a combat power assessment now, comrade regular worker. Okay, Dear, the combat power detection equipment in our assessment center transmits consciousness to the virtual world through brain power connection, and perfectly restores its real combat power 100%. Currently, there are intermediate combat power detection virtual helmet packages, advanced combat power detection virtual glasses packages, and super advanced combat power detection game cabin luxury compartment packages. Which package do you want, little brother? Give me the virtual glasses package in the middle. Sorry, little brother, this is the advanced package, and the intermediate package is the helmet package. The girl pointed to the helmet package with a serious look. I don't care what you call it, I want the virtual package in the middle of the 3 packages. Zhang Chen pointed to the virtual glasses package. Sorry, little brother, this is the advanced package. We only have intermediate, advanced, and super advanced here. Quote. Zhang Chen looked at the innocent girl in front of him and really wanted to slap her 3 times. Okay, I want the advanced glasses package, okay. Sorry, little brother, we don't have the advanced glasses package. Zhang Chen slammed the table hard, stared at the girl, and pointed at the package on the electronic screen. Isn't this the glasses package? Oh, this is the advanced combat power detection virtual glasses package, not the advanced glasses package. That's it, little brother, say it. Quote. Looking at the smiling girl, Zhang Chen was completely defeated. You win, sister, please be kind, I want this advanced combat power detection virtual glasses set. Wait, little girl, I will definitely complain about you later. Okay, I'll do it for you right away. Please enter a virtual name. Let's call it Kaido of the Beasts. A middle school name. After saying that, Lu Meng turned around and shouted to the backstage staff as if she had won, number 29, intermediate set. Zhang Chen's head was full of black lines, he swore that he had never been so speechless as today. Under the leadership of Lu Meng, Zhang Chen came to the hall full of comfortable chairs, on the chairs were pairs of glasses full of technology, and many people were immersed in the virtual world with glasses. This virtual world is called the Phantom God Tower, you will enter it when you put on the glasses. Lu Meng explained in detail how to use the virtual glasses, and after repeated confirmation, Zhang Chen put on the virtual glasses. The next moment, Zhang Chen felt a black screen in front of his eyes, as if he was sucked into a vortex. When he opened his eyes again, he had come to a tower that was majestic and reached the sky. There was a stone tablet in front of the tower, with the words, Phantom Tower, written on it. Countless scientists from the Han Alliance worked hard to record all the data of monsters and demons that fought against humans in the past 800 years. A battle platform established through simulation. Through the Phantom Tower, you can feel your own strength very intuitively. Determine your true combat power by constantly fighting monsters and demons, including all your physical realms, physical skills, fruits, and even domineering. He pinched his arm hard and felt the same pain as in reality. Zhang Chen couldn't help but sigh, technology really changes life. It's a pity not to use this technology to develop online games. Then he pushed the door open, the scene changed, and Zhang Chen came to the edge of the arena in the tower. Suddenly a mechanical sound rang out. Dear Kaido of the Beasts, your physical body has been detected to have arrived Black Iron Realm, the Black Iron level combat strength assessment is opening for you. Quote. Black Iron primary combat strength assessment begins. Before the words fell, a figure slowly appeared opposite Zhang Chen. A wolf-shaped monster with a body size of 3 meters, red all over, and a breath that was about to reach Black Iron appeared. Black Iron level monster Red Shadow Wolf. The monster's name and level were displayed on its head. Awoo, so weak. Looking at the monster in front of him, Zhang Chen waved his hand in boredom, and a volley of his finger gun pierced its forehead directly. The poor monster was killed before the roar ended. Then it turned into starlight and disappeared. Congratulations to Kaido of the Beasts. Completed the Black Iron primary combat strength assessment. Do you want to continue? The mechanical voice sounded again. Continue. Quote. Zhang Chen did not hesitate at all, this was not even a warm-up. Then, in the intermediate level, 10 monsters attacked. Zhang Chen kicked several times, all of them were killed. Advanced level, 20 monsters attacked. Zhang Chen stood still, opened the iron block, and ignored the monsters' bites. One punch at a time, directly blasted the monsters' heads. 20 consecutive hammers. At this time, the voice in the Phantom Tower came again. Congratulations to Kaido of the Beasts for completing all the conventional combat power appraisals in the Black Iron Realm. Do you want to open the hidden combat power appraisal? Quote. Open. Quote. Zhang Chen raised his eyebrows. That's right. Those 20 monsters were too weak to interest Zhang Chen at all. Pojun level combat power appraisal is activated. Suddenly, the scene changed again. The arena expanded tenfold. 100 fierce monsters of all kinds descended on the arena. A fierce tiger with wings, a monster with a cow's head and a snake's body, and a vicious dog with 3 heads. Zhang Chen's eyes condensed. It was interesting. Then he activated the maximum power of the super-dimensional body. Facing the overwhelming monsters, Zhang Chen used the moon step to fly to the air to avoid the attack of the land monsters. He had to solve the problem of the flying monsters occupying the air supremacy first. Lan Zhao Buzhou Mountain is broken. Quote. Use the same move against Wang Jia again. The terrifying slash that can cut through gold and stone madly slashes at the flying monster. With his own extremely high 6-dimensional attributes and the super-dimensional divine body released at full power. At this time, Zhang Chen has turned into the most cruel demon god. For a moment, blood rained down. Corpses were everywhere. Zhang Chen was fighting bloody among the monsters. The 2-winged fierce tiger flapped its wings and scraped countless wind blades towards Zhang Chen. The monster with a cow's head and a snake's body sprayed countless foul-smelling poisonous gases from its mouth to invade Zhang Chen's body. The 3-headed vicious dog made endless noises, scratching Zhang Chen's eardrums. The difference between the advanced level and the broken army is 1 level, and the number of monsters has increased too much. It's like the teacher taught you addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and asked you if you learned it, and you happily said you learned it. The teacher was also very happy, saying that everything that should be taught was taught, and turned around and took a university advanced mathematics book for you to use as exercises. Tell me, are you confused? Zhang Chen couldn't stand it anymore, and suddenly kicked away an unknown giant wolf, and then kicked the ground with both feet. Shave. Escape from the encirclement of the monsters. Then he looked up to the sky and howled. A blue illusory dragon shadow appeared around him and suddenly wrapped Zhang Chen. In an instant, the sky in the virtual world changed drastically, and the wind howled. Silver snakes raged. The azure dragon was born. Natural disasters came. A 100-meter-long dragon disappeared into the clouds. The terrifying sense of oppression shocked the whole audience. Even the unconscious virtual monsters showed a trace of human fear at this moment. At this moment, Zhang Chen completely released himself. The terrifying roar triggered the thunder of the whole sky. The domineering aura swept across the world. Wherever he passed, the monsters collapsed to the ground. Good opportunity. Tornado bad wind. Zhang Chen turned the dragon body and spun like a gyroscope. Produced several tornadoes that covered the sky. Swept countless monsters and couldn't control their bodies. Brutally cut their bodies. The roar triggered the thunder to kill the monsters crazily. For a while, the monsters kept wailing. Ha 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 ha, it feels so good. Zhang Chen looked up to the sky and roared, feeling very comfortable. The 10% fruit development degree allowed him to use less physical strength to bring out the greater power of the fantasy beast Azure Dragon. As the wailing gradually subsided, the field was littered with corpses, and there was no trace of living things. What a pity, it would be great if it was a real monster. Zhang Chen smacked his lips with satisfaction. Congratulations to Kaido of the Beasts for completing the army-breaking level combat power assessment. 1 against 100. 1 man breaks the army. Do you want to continue to start the city-destroying level combat power assessment? Continue. 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 Ha 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 ha. Zhang Chen was extremely crazy at this time. In the outside world at this time, the receptionist Lu Meng had already been waiting impatiently and lowered her head and muttered softly. Oh, is it so difficult to identify a combat power? It's been almost an hour. Even the high-level combat power identification is not so exaggerated. Humph, he looks strong and sturdy, but he is actually a silver-like wax spear. If Zhang Chen heard this, he would have to compete with Lu Meng. Dare to say he can't do it. At this time, there was a cry of surprise at the door. The noise was everywhere. I saw a cold girl with long black hair, skin like cream, and eyes like stars, walking into the identification hall slowly. Behind him stood an old man who looked around vigilantly. He was full of blood and energy and was obviously the girl's protector. Next to him was a young man of the same size as the girl, and behind him were 5 strong bodyguards wearing suits and sunglasses. The man kept asking about the cold girl's well-being, but the girl didn't seem to appreciate it. She was a dog. This is Bai Qingshu, the daughter of the Bai family. The #1 genius in Qingcheng. No way, it's her, so beautiful. That's the one who has obtained the ability of the natural smoke fruit. It's basically the synonym of invincibility. Hiss, so terrifying, she came here to test her combat power today. I really want to see what level of combat power she can reach in the same realm. I guess, at least she has to be at the advanced level of the Black Iron realm. She can easily beat us trash bronzes. Who knows, she can reach the Broken Army level. Hiss, the Broken Army level is not that easy, the natural smoke fruit is indeed invincible. But it can only make oneself immune to damage, and the attack power is average. I heard that the monsters faced by the Broken Army level are all super fierce monsters in the same realm. Or 100. Activating the fruit ability also consumes physical strength. I don't believe that Bai Qingshu can defeat those 100 monsters before running out of physical strength. Quote. That's right. I don't know how many geniuses in the same realm have obviously exceeded the advanced level, but unfortunately they failed when challenging the Broken Army level. I can only regretfully attribute all my strength to the advanced combat power stage. Hehe, I am also an advanced combat power. If Bai Qingshu fails in challenging the Pojung level and is identified as advanced, then rounding it off means that I am as powerful as Bai Qingshu. Quote. You are dreaming. You are advanced because your strength is only advanced, and others are advanced because the difference in this identification is too big. You can't even beat her with one finger. Woo woo, stop talking, it hurts my heart and I hate you. At this time, Bai Qingshu, who was being discussed by everyone, walked to seat number 28 under the guidance of the staff, just to the left of Zhang Chen. At this time, the young man next to the girl frowned slightly and pinched his nose and said, Qingshu, there are too many people here and they smell dirty and smelly. Let's go to the special private room luxury cabin for testing. Bai Qingshu glanced at the young man next to her. If the two families had not been friends for generations, both parents would have tried their best to match them up. It's not easy to turn against each other openly. She really didn't want to come out with this young man who was full of hypocritical young master style. Then she said in a neutral voice, Haos, you should call me by my full name. I still like the environment with many people. Since you want to go to the private room for testing, why don't you go by yourself? Qingshu, no way, it's because I'm afraid that calling you by your full name will be unfamiliar. Wherever you go, of course I will go there. Hehe. Quote. Ignoring the ignorant Mr. Hauser, Bai Qingshu put on his virtual glasses and lay on the chair. He turned around and found Zhang Chen next to him. He frowned and seemed to feel familiar. Seeing that his lover ignored him and looked at Zhang Chen on the other side of the chair, his face was suddenly covered with clouds. This lowly inferior. He actually let Qinger stare at him for 3 seconds. It's simply unforgivable. Turning his head to look at the manager of the Combat Power Appraisal Center hall next to him, he pointed at Zhang Chen and said in a commanding manner, I want to sit next to Qingshu. His seat, you quickly arrange it for me. How dare the manager who was instructed disobey the order of the eldest young master of the Hao family? He ran to Zhang Chen with sweat all over his head and prepared to forcibly unplug the consciousness link. Seeing this, the girl Lu Meng hurried forward to stop him. The petite body stretched out her arms to block the manager. No, manager. The boy has not finished the appraisal yet, you can't unplug the consciousness link. This is against the rules. Quote. The blocked middle-aged man was sweating profusely and whispered in Lu Meng's ear. Auntie, please get out of the way. The young master of the Hao family is notorious and we ordinary people can't afford to offend him. Hao Yuntian, the head of the Hao family, is the head of the Qingcheng Supervisory Department. His only son, Hao Sei, has been spoiled since childhood and has developed an arrogant and domineering character. He doesn't like to practice, and as his name suggests, he is very lustful. He often instructs his subordinates to forcibly abduct the beauties they like through abnormal means for their entertainment. I don't know how many originally happy and peaceful families have been destroyed. The people of Chingcheng are complaining. It's impossible if it doesn't work. If the consciousness connection is forcibly disconnected, it will be bad if he is in a tense battle and suddenly disconnects the connection and hurts his brain. Quote, he already looks old, what will he do when his brain gets stupider? He muttered softly after saying that. Lu Meng stared at the manager angrily like a tigress protecting her cubs. What, you can't even do this little thing well, do you want me to do it myself? Hayas's sinister voice sounded behind the manager. Chapter 31. Before the words fell, Hao Sei's group of suit thugs moved upon hearing the sound. One of them first grinned and clenched his fists, his muscles bulging all over his body, and he could hardly hold up his suit. He pushed the manager who was blocking the way away, and the manager stumbled and fell to the ground unexpectedly. Seeing this, Lu Meng hurried forward to support the manager. Obviously, with the experience of the little girl, she had never seen such a domineering and arrogant person in public, and a trace of panic suddenly appeared on her face. Little girl, don't be ungrateful, listen to others' advice and eat a full meal. How can you hit someone in public? Don't be afraid, manager. I'll report to the supervision department right away. After saying that, he was about to pick up the phone. Seeing this, the group of suit thugs laughed at first, and then their eyes turned cold. One of them kicked Lu Meng's phone to pieces and kicked it dozens of meters away. Ah! Lu Meng curled up in pain, her pretty face pale and sweaty. The commotion here had already attracted the attention of many people. They gathered around and saw 4 or 5 muscular men bullying a little girl. They all whispered and criticized, but no one dared to step forward. Some were afraid of the 5 burly men and felt they were no match for them. Some were afraid of Hao Sei's notoriety and were afraid of getting into trouble. Some were afraid of Hao Sei's family power and were afraid of revenge afterwards. There were also people who were not aware of the situation and were filled with righteous indignation. What are you doing? Is there any law? Beating people in public? But when the people who knew the situation whispered, their faces changed and they slowly retreated behind the crowd. Lu Meng, who fell to the ground, looked at the evasive eyes of the onlookers and suddenly felt desperate. Hao's wiped his palms carefully with a handkerchief, and came to Lu Meng condescendingly, sneering. Tisk, look, you beat this little girl so hard that she can't even stand up. I'm not saying you guys are really ruthless. Little girl, do you need me to report to the supervisory office for you? Forget it, seeing that you are so seriously injured, someone send this young lady to the hospital. The 5 burly men bowed their heads and repeatedly admitted their mistakes, then smiled at each other, and were about to pick up Lu Meng and drag her away with bad intentions. Lu Meng struggled with fear. No, help. The people around couldn't help but turn their heads away, as if they foresaw the girl's next tragic experience. Just then, a pleasant mechanical sound suddenly came from the hall broadcast. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Yin Qingyan, the Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the Broken Army level. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Yin Qingyan, the Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the Broken Army level. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Yin Qingyan, the Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the Broken Army level. Congratulations to the number 28 appraiser Wu Yin Qingyan, the Black Iron Realm combat power has reached the Broken Army level. 3 consecutive broadcast prompts sounded. What? Chingcheng's number 1 prodigy by Qingshu's Black Iron Realm combat power assessment has actually reached the Broken Army level. After so many years, Chingcheng has finally produced another Broken Army level combat power. Invincible talent. Invincible talent. Invincible in the same realm. Wu Yin Qingyan is the virtual name used by Bai Qingshu for combat power assessment, but her name is known to everyone in Chingcheng. A broken army, 1 against 100. One person broke the army. In today's world, the combat power system is complex and diverse, with a variety of fruit abilities, a vast sea of martial arts and physical skills, and mysterious 3-color domineering. Even the physique of the same realm will vary greatly due to different potentials. It is impossible to accurately judge the strength of a person. Only actual combat can truly show one's own strength. In order to avoid unnecessary casualties, using the Phantom God Tower for combat power assessment has become the best option recognized by countries around the world. The common people have limited talents and opportunities. Throughout his life, his strength in each realm is only hovering between the primary, intermediate and advanced stages. Only the true genius is qualified to break through the shackles and open the hidden combat power identification. One person against 100 in the same realm. Considered as the broken army level. One person against 200 monsters in the same realm, destroying the city. Considered as the city destroying level. One person against 300 monsters in the same realm. Unparalleled in the world is considered as the unparalleled level. One person against 500 monsters in the same realm, with overwhelming combat power, invincible in the world, can be called the Supreme Realm. Of course, it is said that there is another realm above the Supreme called the Unknown Realm. Reading the past and present. The human strongmen who will achieve great fame and prestige in the future will start with the broken army level in the same realm. And the city destroying level and above are even rarer. It can be called the peerless genius. Once the city destroying level combat power grows up, it will leave a strong mark in human history. Become the top combat force of mankind against invasion. Most of the top lieutenant generals and even general candidates in the Han Alliance army are city destroying combat forces. They are invincible in the same realm. And if the unparalleled or even supreme realms do not fall, they must be the overlords of the world. Such as the 3 generals of the army today. And the 7 kings of the Han dynasty. As for the unknowable realm, it means mysterious and unpredictable, and its strength is difficult to guess. It has appeared very few times in history, but every time it appears, it means the emergence of the master of an era. Every existence of the unknowable realm is a monster that cannot be defeated by human power or numbers. They control an era. They lead an era. They dominate an era. Repel the fog. Xuanyuan Wangdi who remade the world. Build the Great Wall of Mist. Fight against demons. Qin Shi Huang who unified the 6 kingdoms. The top unknowables never meet each other. If it were not for the brilliant world, it is rare for 2 unknowable realms to appear at the same time in an era. The only exception in history is the founding emperor of the Han Alliance today. Emperor Gaozu of Han Lu Bang and the overlord of Western Chu. The Chu-Han contention was the only confrontation between the highest-level combat power of mankind in the 800 years since the invasion of the Fog, which was between the unknowable saints. Lu Bang, the first emperor of the Han dynasty, and Han Xin, the military fairy of the saintly realm, joined forces to defeat the overlord Shang Yu with one move. Since then, the fate of an era has been established. The continuous Han Alliance has a history of 300 years. That era was almost the peak of human combat power. Saints emerged in an endless stream. There was even an unknowable existence like the Emperor Gaozu and the Overlord. The fog retreated. The evil bowed. Humans were almost about to dominate the world again. Unfortunately, the Chu-Han contention almost wiped out the luck of the world. 300 years have passed since then. The high-level combat power of mankind is still sluggish and there is a lack of successors. The whole world has never produced a saint again. At this time, Bai Qingshu tore off the virtual glasses, her plump chest rising and falling slightly, and the sweat on her forehead showed that her heart was not calm. Facing the siege of hundreds of monsters in the Phantom God Tower, even though Bai Qingshu used all his means, even opening the elemental transformation throughout the whole process, he was almost exhausted to death under the siege of the monsters. In the end, relying on flexible positioning, he fought desperately at the last moment, and at the cost of an arm, he was lucky enough to smash the heart of the last monster with a seriously injured body. Too terrible. Is this the combat power assessment of the broken army level? It is really hard to imagine how terrifying the city-destroying and supreme realms above the broken army are. Bai Qingshu patted his chest with lingering fear, and at the same time, he was more determined to climb the peak of martial arts. Well, set a small goal first. Reach the broken army level in the bronze realm. Congratulations, Miss. Congratulations, Miss. You have become the first genius to reach the level of Pojun since the establishment of Qingcheng. The old man behind Bai Qingshu looked at the girl in front of him with excitement. Uncle Chow, that's not true. There is no end to martial arts. You must know that there is always someone better than you. Ignoring the flattery of the crowd, Bai Qingshu said lightly. Haha, Miss is right, but I'm afraid Miss has no rivals in Qingcheng. Bai Qingshu smiled lightly. The reputation of the natural fruit ability user is enough to make her stand out in Qingcheng. Even if it is Duan Tianya, the strongest army branch director in Qingcheng, Bai Qingshu can confidently deal with him. At this time, Master Hauser also hurried over to congratulate Bai Qingshu. Qingshu, you are so amazing. Who in Qingcheng can beat you now? It's ridiculous that an unknown person named Zhang Chen is praised as a god on the internet. Some people even compare him with you. What a big joke. Seeing Hao Se coming, Bai Qingshu turned her head with a look of disgust. She had heard of Zhang Chen. Although he obtained the weakest fruit, the fish fruit, he was a rare fantasy beast azure dragon. She had also seen the edited azure dragon video. In terms of attack power, destructive power and expressiveness, even she couldn't compare with him. However, the elemental transformation is naturally invincible. I think it's useless if Zhang Chen can't hit me. I was thinking about it and happened to see Hao Se's men pulling a girl. At a glance, I knew it was Hao Se, the young master of a big family, who was doing it. Stop it. Bai Qingshu stopped the 5 thugs in suits. When the 5 saw that it was Bai Qingshu who spoke, they stopped and looked at their own young master. Bai Qingshu looked at Hao Se with disgust. Master Hao. Bullying a little girl in public is not good for Uncle Hao's reputation. Hao's was also a little embarrassed at this time, and quickly asked his men to release Lu Meng, and then argued seriously. Qingshu, you misunderstood me. I saw that the girl seemed to have a sudden illness and fell to the ground, so I kindly sent someone to send her to the hospital. If you don't believe it, ask everyone present. Then Hao Se turned around and glanced at everyone present with a fierce look in his eyes. The threat was self-evident. Everyone dared not say a word. Bai Qingshu, who knew Hao Se's virtue, rolled his eyes, ignored Hao Se, stood up and walked to Lu Meng, looked at the girl's injuries in front of him, took out the healing pill and fed her. Thank you, Miss Bai. Lu Meng, whose complexion had obviously improved, struggled to thank Bai Qingshu, but Bai Qingshu quickly stopped her and helped Lu Meng to rest on a chair. Hao's felt ashamed when he saw Bai Qingshu ignoring him. He was so angry that he saw Zhang Chen still lying on the chair, looking carefree. It's all this fool's fault. If it weren't for him, how could I have sent someone to beat up that girl? If that girl wasn't beaten, how could Qingshu look down on me? And that stinky woman, why don't you just get out of here? You only earn 2,000 or 3,000 Baileys a month. What are you playing with? You have to protect this man. Thinking of this, Hao Se pointed at Zhang Chen and said loudly, what's wrong with this person? He has been playing in the Phantom God Tower since he came in. Miss Qingshu's appraisal of the Broken Army level has come out, but he hasn't come out yet. You can tell at a glance that he is playing hide and seek in the Phantom God Tower. It's a waste of public resources. Scum. Hao Se, will never allow such a thing to happen. After saying that, he ordered a subordinate to unplug Zhang Chen's network cable. Master Hao is right. This person is occupying the toilet without taking a shit. A man came to Zhang Chen aggressively, pretending to slap the glasses off Zhang Chen's face. Without the obstruction of Lu Meng, who was seen as a fool by everyone, the man came to Zhang Chen smoothly. At this time, Zhang Chen in the Phantom God Tower has also reached a critical period. Zhang Chen, covered in blood, has already opened the strongest form of the Phantom Beast Azure Dragon, the Half-Beast Dragon Man mode. He is 8 meters tall, holding a virtualized steel mace, and his whole body is covered with azure hard dragon scales. A flash of abyss-like blood red flashed in the depths of the golden dragon pupil, which was the red light produced by excessive use of the observation haki. The whole body is windless and automatic, and an invisible breath of extreme yang and strength lingers in it. The color is thin but extremely thick and massive armament haki entangled and spreads on the mace. Zhang Chen was panting heavily. At this time, he was already at the end of his strength and exhausted. Both his physical strength, energy and blood volume will reach the bottom. What's going on? I haven't heard that the Phantom God Tower has an infinite mode. Since Zhang Chen defeated 500 monsters, the entire illusion has inexplicably not been updated, but monsters have begun to emerge from all directions. If it weren't for his super-dimensional divine body that was forcibly maintaining his peak combat power, he would have been torn into pieces by thousands of monsters. That's right, even he himself didn't know that the trial Zhang Chen was starting now was the extremely rare battle power appraisal of the unknown realm. I want to report that there is a bug in the Illusion God Tower. Maybe Zhang Chen was really exhausted, and the illusion stopped the monsters that continued to emerge. Looking at the last 4 or 5 remaining beasts running towards him, Zhang Chen took a deep breath and forced his pounding heart to hold back. Raise the last bit of will. The last blow. Life and death are up to fate. Transformed into the form of a blue dragon and flew into the air again. Zhang Chen was no longer able to control the external thunder and natural disasters. He squeezed the last bit of power in the fruit. The scales all over his body burst into flames from the gaps and quickly burned to the whole body of the dragon. He suddenly transformed into a giant dragon of fire, enduring the burning of the flames, urging the last bit of domineering to cover the hardest dragon horns. Fire Dragon Torch, the strongest blow that perfectly combines the fruit and the domineering spirit. Zhang Chen roared with a ferocious look and rushed towards the monster on the ground. The red flames cut through the sky and hit the monster like a meteor. Boom! Zhang Chen opened his eyes and couldn't suppress the ferocious killing intent. The thug in suits who looked directly at Zhang Chen felt like he was falling into an endless hell. You are staring into the abyss, and the abyss is also staring at you. The thug in suits suddenly softened his legs and knelt straight in front of Zhang Chen with a puff, his mind blank. Others could not feel it, they only felt a chill, but the old man next to Bai Qingshu was sweating and protecting Bai Qingshu like his hair was standing up. At that moment, the old man called Chao Bo by Bai Qingshu clearly felt the monstrous killing intent emanating from Zhang Chen because of his realm. The killing intent contained a terrifying power that even he could never resist. Enough to kill everyone present. The old man subconsciously protected Bai Qingshu, just to buy time for Bai Qingshu to escape. Bai Qingshu looked at Chao Bo with a puzzled look. Miss, be careful, that man is not right. Zhang Chen stood up and looked at the man kneeling on the ground and secretly said sorry. The moment he opened his eyes, he really couldn't distinguish between reality and virtuality. Hao Se didn't know this. He was furious when he saw his subordinates fall to the ground inexplicably. What's going on? Get up, you can't even do such a small thing as driving away a piece of trash. Teach this kid a lesson. Zhang Chen's face sank. Things seemed to be a little different from what he thought. Although the remaining 4 men who received the order were puzzled by their companion's fall, it did not affect their punching Zhang Chen at all. Boy, the mistake is that you have provoked my eldest son. Maybe you don't know it at all, or even feel puzzled, but this is the reality. Just like some people are born a mistake. Zhang Chen tilted his head and looked at the 4 ants in front of him pretending to be cool in front of him. He was really a little confused now. Be careful, the injured Lu Meng struggled to shout to Zhang Chen. Before the voice fell, a loud mechanical prompt sound suddenly rang in the entire Combat Power Appraisal Center. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm, the combat power has reached the unknowable realm. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm, the combat power has reached the unknowable realm. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm, the combat power has reached the unknowable realm. Congratulations to the number 29 appraiser, Kaido, the Black Iron Realm, the combat power has reached the unknowable realm. The same 3 broadcasts, but the performance of the crowd was completely different from the broadcasts heard by Bai Qingshu before. The whole hall was silent, and you could hear a pin drop. Everyone's expression was dull at first, and then their eyes widened. The open mouths seemed to be shouting silently. No. Unknowable. That's not a legend. Shut up, don't talk, we are witnessing a myth. Bai Qingshu was extremely shocked at this time. The man who was tested side by side with him was actually an unknowable existence. It was ridiculous that he was still complacent about his military-level combat power. Looking carefully at Zhang Chen's face, the more he looked, the more familiar it became. You are Qinglong Zhang Chen. Everyone was in an uproar. What? He is one of the strongest geniuses in Qingcheng who is on par with Bai Qingshu. Zhang Chen, known as the Azure Dragon. The title of the weakest counterattack fruit. He is the one who bears the most recognized animal fruit today. The fish fruit fantasy beast Azure Dragon. Zhang Chen ignored the surprise of the crowd, passing by the 4 thugs in suits who were still in a punching position after being frightened by the broadcast, and also passed by Chao Bo who was in a fighting position but shivering all over. He came to Lu Meng, the girl who had been arguing with him before, but was the only one who warned him when the thugs in suits attacked him, and looked at Bai Qingshu who was taking care of Lu Meng and nodded. Even when Zhang Chen first saw Bai Qingshu, he couldn't help but be stunned, and sighed in his heart, what a beautiful lady with fairy-like appearance. From a high-dimensional perspective, it was easy to find that the girl's fragile body had suffered a lot of internal injuries. The intuition of seeing and hearing color told Zhang Chen that something bad happened during his test, and maybe this girl would tell him the answer. What happened? Your injury should also be caused by those guys in suits, right? She asked softly, but with a hint of doubt. The girl looked at the boy who was bickering with her an hour ago, and suddenly became an unattainable genius. She nodded with difficulty when she heard Zhang Chen's question. The people who came back to their senses started to discuss it. The enthusiastic people recounted the whole story again. Zhang Chen's face was gloomy. He didn't expect that he would encounter so many things just to test his combat power. At the same time, he looked at the girl Lu Meng with guilt. She suffered an unprovoked disaster for protecting herself. I'm sorry, I made you suffer. I will give you an explanation. Lu Meng didn't expect that a genius like Zhang Chen would apologize to her. Shouldn't they be high above and look down on everyone? At the same time, Zhang Chen looked at Bai Qingshu who was taking care of Lu Meng with a sincere look. Can you take her to the hospital first? I'll take care of something and come later. This is my bank card. The password is 6 sixes. I'll pay for the medical expenses, and the rest is your hard work fee. Then he forced a bank card into Bai Qingshu's hand. Bai Qingshu was stunned. Didn't he know her? Then she laughed at herself and looked at the card in her hand. From childhood to adulthood, no man had dared to treat her like this. Facing Zhang Chen's request, she nodded inexplicably. Hao's also felt that something was wrong at this time. He didn't know if his father could stand up to provoking this extraordinary genius, so he wanted to save the situation. Ha ha ha, the flood really washed away the Dragon King Temple. So you are the famous Qinglong Zhang Chen in Qingcheng. My younger brothers were ignorant and almost bumped into you. I am really sorry. My father is Hao Gang, the head of the Qingcheng Supervisory Department. Brother Zhang, let's be friends. Hao's extended his hand with an apologetic look and lowered his posture. A real man can bend and stretch. Although Hao's is arrogant, he also knows that there are always people better than you. He is not a fool. It is unwise to provoke a strong enemy for his family for no reason. But in the past, as long as you lower your posture and give enough face, and emphasize your background, you can turn hostility into friendship. Ling's method, but at this time, he still couldn't get a response from Zhang Chen. Looking at Zhang Chen's playful smile, Hao Se didn't know whether to put his hand down or not, and the smile he barely maintained was about to break. This guy, he deliberately didn't give me face. He really thought that he could walk sideways in Qingcheng just because he was a genius. No, I must endure it. Everything will be discussed later. Haha, it seems that Brother Zhang is still a little angry, so you can deal with my 4 men. Kill or cut them, it's up to you. I'll set up a meal another day and apologize to Brother Zhang. At this time, Bai Qingshu also wanted to see what this legendary man would do, whether he was worldly wise and laughed off the grudges, or was full of passion and drew his sword at a disagreement. You are very good at making connections, kid. It's a pity that it's useless for you to recognize me. Did you see the little girl lying on the chair? Go, kneel down and apologize. What? Let me kneel down and apologize to a lowly person? Zhang Chen, you are going too far. Before Hao Se opened his mouth to fight back, Zhang Chen kicked him on the knee, and he fell to the ground with an unstable force. Young master. Seeing his young master fall to the ground, this is a serious failure to protect him. Others don't know that the few people who are their young master's lackeys don't know that with Hao Se's twisted mentality, they will definitely punish them afterwards and their lives may not be saved. Suddenly, the fear of death overwhelmed the fear of Zhang Chen and they all stepped forward to stop him. Since killing all 4 sides in the Phantom Tower, the repressed nature seems to have been released. What hiding the weakness, what worrying about being too strong to attract attention? Nothing to say. Looking at the 4 people who attacked, the extremely masculine and strong black aura suddenly brewed around him, and the armed color domineering aura like a dimensionality reduction attack was used by Zhang Chen in reality for the first time. No need to come all the way here. Zhang Chen was the first to arrive, and he tore off the iron bracket on the wall, and a graceful and brutal arc passed through the 4 people. Thunderous Bagua. Instantly, the 4 people were hit hard. They fell to the ground with white eyes and unconscious. Pouted, when will that he guy give me the mace he owes me? He is not going to regret it. It's your turn. The kid who made connections. Don't come over here. My dad is Hao Gang. My dad is Hao Gang. Looking at Zhang Chen walking towards him, Hao Sei swung his fist in panic. Zhang Chen dodged sideways, grabbed Hao Sei's head with his backhand and dragged him to Lu Meng's side. Hao Sei slapped Zhang Chen's arms with both hands, but it was useless. In front of Zhang Chen, Hao Sei was like a baby with no power to resist. Zhang Chen pressed his head and slammed it against Lu Meng. Hao Sei's head was immediately broken and bleeding. You dare to hit me? My father will not let you go. Hao Sei looked at the blood dripping from his head in disbelief. He was humiliated in public. He let out a hysterical roar while being pulled up. Zhang Chen ignored Hao Sei's barking and looked indifferent. He smashed Hao Sei's head down regularly again and again. Pull it up again. Smash it down again. Pull it up again. Swung it around like an animal. Blood splattered all over the floor. The only way to deal with violence is to fight violence with violence. The sound of banging echoed in the hall. Mixed with Haoser's constant curses, everyone was so scared that they dared not speak. It was brutal, too brutal. At this time, the security personnel of the Combat Power Appraisal Center also came late with batons and shields. Their hats were buttoned crookedly, and their uniforms were not buttoned properly. They were quite old, and it was unknown who was protecting whom. What's going on? I heard that a serious violent incident occurred here. Don't worry, we will definitely protect everyone's life and property. A middle-aged man in the lead shouted with full energy, but just looking at the strangeness of the people around him, his old face couldn't help but blush. They had witnessed everything in the surveillance, but they were afraid of Haoser's reputation, so none of them dared to leave the security room. At this time, seeing a reckless boy with a passion and no idea what to do, he felt that he was good enough. Help, security guard, help me, my dad is Hao Gang. Haos seemed to have grabbed a life-saving straw, and shouted even more vigorously. Hey, young man, stop it. You are breaking the law, do you know that? Uncle security guard, you were really deaf in the broadcast just now, you didn't hear a word, right? The young man you mentioned has reached the highest level of combat power detection, and pinching you is like pinching an ant. Hearing the words of the enthusiastic crowd, the leading security guard was stunned. Looking at Zhang Chen's cold eyes with murderous intent, he wanted to slap himself in the face, and calmly picked up the walkie-talkie in his hand. Yes, Lao Lu, it's me, the crisis is over, there is no violence, what are you talking about? It's all lies. The security guard who didn't show up when Hao Sei bullied Lu Meng showed up at this time and saw Zhang Chen's cold eyes, swallowed his saliva, ignored Hao Sei's curse, and chose to turn a blind eye again. A few Baileys a month, what's my life? Then he led a bunch of old, weak and sick people under his command to leave the hall in unison. As soon as the security guard left, Hao Sei felt desperate again, and Zhang Chen pressed his head harder. As time went by, Hao Sei's shouting became smaller and smaller, and finally turned into begging for mercy. Hao Sei felt that Zhang Chen was a lunatic. He was really scared at this moment, and his intuition told him that Zhang Chen might really beat him to death. I'm sorry. I apologize. I compensate, Qingshu, uncle. At this time, Hao Sei was beaten up in a trance, and he couldn't speak clearly. His nose was broken, his teeth were broken, his eyes were swollen, and his face was unrecognizable. Where was the previous invincible momentum? Looking at Bai Qingshu, who was on the side and stretched out his hand for help. Bai Qingshu also showed a trace of pity. After all, the two families knew each other since childhood. Although she hated this guy who bullied men and women and did all kinds of evil, she couldn't be indifferent if he really died in front of her. He wanted to step forward to stop her, but he felt that he didn't have that much face, so he helped Lu Meng up and looked at her with worry. Lu Meng couldn't stand the bloody scene in front of her, and turned her head away, not daring to look at Hao Sei's miserable appearance. Enough, that brother Zhang, he has admitted his mistake. Stop beating, if you continue beating, someone will die. You're right, it's more important to send you to the hospital. Looking at Lu Meng, his facial expression changed from cold to gentle again. During the chat with Lu Meng, after knowing the girl's name, Zhang Chen left his mobile phone number to Lu Meng. Lu Meng, remember to call me if anything happens in the future. Then he watched Lu Meng being sent to the hospital by Chao Bo, who was crying behind Bai Qingshu. After Zhang Chen put Hao Se down, he took out his treasured handkerchief from his pocket, wiped the blood on his hands, and continued to use the used handkerchief to carefully wipe the blood on Hao Se's face with gentle movements and gentle tone. Hao boy, I'm protecting that girl. If she gets into any trouble in the future, be careful or I'll kill your whole family. Hao swallowed his saliva and nodded. He looked dull on the surface, but he was already furious in his heart. Ha 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 ha, Zhang Chen, you are nothing special. Letting me go must be the stupidest decision you have ever made. Zhang Chen ignored him and said hello to Bai Qingshu and was about to leave. At this moment, something strange happened. Hao Se was indeed a descendant of a big family. He was patient enough. While Zhang Chen turned around to talk, he took out a pistol and pulled the trigger frantically. Ha ha, go to hell, Zhang Chen. His ferocious expression could be vaguely seen on his scarred face. Be careful. Bai Qingshu was stunned and shouted to Zhang Chen anxiously. Zhang Chen ignored him and turned his head to avoid the stray bullets that were coming at him at a critical moment. Then he turned and walked towards Hao Se. The hall was in chaos, glass was broken, bullets were flying. Some people even cried out in pain after being shot. At this time, Hao Se was still outputting crazily. But none of them could hit Zhang Chen. A bullet hit Bai Qingshu right between her eyebrows and passed through her head, but only brought out a wisp of white mist. Is this guy crazy? I finally calmed down the monster's anger. Doesn't he want to die? Bai Qingshu looked anxious, ignoring the bullet that Hao Se shot at her in a frenzy. She was only worried about whether Hao Se would die here today. If he really died here, Qingcheng would really be turned upside down. Of course Hao Se would not be so reckless, but he was too confident in his ability. Zhang Chen walked step by step to the crazy Hao Se, looking down at him as if he was looking at a fool. I thought you were just bad, but I didn't expect you to be so stupid. You kept shooting even though you knew you couldn't hit. Hauser looked crazy. Really, Zhang Chen, you are too conceited. I forgot to tell you. This gun is an armor-piercing bullet. It is specially designed for martial arts masters with super strong defense. And I am a superhuman target fruit ability user. Anyone who is touched by me will be marked, Zhang Chen. Even if you hide to the ends of the earth, you will be hit. Ha 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 ha, wait for death. Zhang Chen was shocked. The body was the first to turn into a dragon man. The body increased by 8 meters in height. The terrifying muscles bulged, and the surface of the skin was covered with a layer of fine blue dragon scales as hard as iron. The golden dragon pupils were burning. The surging and terrifying armed color domineering lingered around the body. The full strategy of the super-dimensional body was activated. The swollen muscles tightened again. Maximum power iron block. Can't hide, then don't hide. At this time, Zhang Chen has already activated the maximum defense power. Although the use of armament hockey is crude and only elementary, it can only be sensed and used initially. However, with the talent of the super-dimensional divine body, Zhang Chen's divine attribute conversion hockey has reached 100%. You must know that after anyone awakens hockey, the subsequent practice must work hard on strength skills and quantity. To improve strength skills from elementary to intermediate and then continue to improve, you need to move forward in a series of life and death trials. It is just armament hockey. The elementary level is to be able to sense the existence of hockey and then use it initially. The intermediate level is to be able to harden the armament hockey and even harden the whole body armament hockey. The advanced level is to be able to release the armament hockey like a sword slash to hurt people in the air. Legend has it that there is another level above the advanced level. Skills are close to Dao. It can highly condense high-intensity armament hockey in a local area. Concentrate the hockey that is not used in the whole body at one point. Achieving the extreme hardening of local armament hockey makes the hockey like a flowing liquid, and the attack and defense power are almost extreme. Because it can flow like liquid, it is also called Ryu Sakura. But Zhang Chen does not believe that Ryu Sakura is the end of armament hockey. In One Piece comics, there has been a stronger use of armament hockey than Ryu Sakura, internal destruction. And the amount of hockey also needs to be constantly converted into hockey resources step by step. Ordinary people may spend their entire lives just developing the total amount of hockey, but Zhang Chen has reached the end since birth. Quantitative change is enough to cause qualitative change. Although Zhang Chen cannot harden the armament hockey, the huge amount of hockey is enough to protect it from leaks. As Hao Sei's arrogant voice fell, the bullets that Zhang Chen dodged really bombarded Zhang Chen's body like a young swallow returning to the nest. Ha ha. Die, die, all of you die. Hao Sei, who was completely crazy, shouted wildly. His dignity and pride were shattered by Zhang Chen today, and he must be washed with blood. All those who saw his humble scene. Everyone present must die, including Bai Qingshu. The sound of metal clashing constantly came from Zhang Chen, and a circle of bullet shells that had been shriveled by the extreme collision had fallen to the ground. Hiss, is this an armor-piercing bullet? It really hurts, but that's all. Seeing Zhang Chen unscathed, except for a few broken scales falling like old skin, Hao Sei was really scared. He collapsed to the ground with trembling legs. Impossible. You are a monster. Monster. You are not a human, right? You must be a fog monster in disguise. Hao Sei seemed to have found a reasonable explanation for his failure. You said you are a person who is really cowardly when you are cowardly, and you are really brave when you are brave. The shadow cast by Zhang Chen's body alone completely enveloped Hao Sei. He ignored his barking. Just take it as your last words. Go to hell. After saying that, Zhang Chen was about to stomp Hao Sei to pieces. Looking up at the approaching foot, Hao Sei's fear was infinitely magnified. But the corners of his mouth were still slightly raised. Zhang Chen, no matter how powerful you are, what can you do? You can't kill me. Between life and death, a strong white smoke swept to Zhang Chen's feet. The strong white impact formed a corner with the foot. Zhang Chen, you really can't kill him. At least not here, not in public, not in the city. Otherwise, the situation will really be out of control. Even if you don't think about yourself, you have to think about Lu Meng. No ordinary people can bear the anger of the Hao family. Bai Qingshu's arms kept spewing white smoke, her pretty face flushed, and her tight white legs half knelt on the ground, gritting her teeth and struggling to support. The murderer will be killed. If Lu Meng really died because of this, I will naturally avenge her and kill all enemies. In Zhang Chen's opinion, even if Lu Meng did not participate, once the combat power appraisal was over, Zhang Chen, who knew the whole story, would not let Hao Sei go. Zhang Chen's half-beast face was dark and ferocious. Bai Qingshu looked at the monster in front of him in disbelief. His heart was so cold. Cruel. Inflated. Of course Zhang Chen inflated. Since he identified the combat power of the unknown realm, Zhang Chen certainly has the right to inflate. The highest level of combat power in the small Qingcheng is only silver. I have never heard of his domineering power. Bai Qingshu's black iron breaking military level combat power dared to face the silver with his elementalization. Zhang Chen killed 1,000 monsters of the same realm after all, although he had the domineering blessing. Although there is no elementalization bug, even if he can't beat it, he can still fly, and he can always run away. How strong is he now? A single man is an army. I'm not kidding. Although there are thousands of monsters in the Phantom Tower, 90% of them are low-level monsters with no talent or skills. Whiteboard monster. It's just that the physique has reached the Black Iron realm. The remaining 9% can be regarded as monsters with strong physique, and the last 1% are difficult monsters with some innate skills. If mortals are classified as the same level, it is equivalent to Zhang Chen, as a boxing champion Tyson, challenging 900 babies. 90 young children, and the last one is a primary school student. This is not something that ordinary people can do. Qingcheng is going anywhere. Zhang Chen suddenly exerted force and shattered Bai Qingshu into countless white mists with one kick. The white mist took advantage of the situation to roll up Hao Sei and dragged him to the side. The white mist spun and reformed into the appearance of Bai Qingshu. Natural smoke fruit ability user. You are Qingcheng's #1 prodigy Bai Qingshu. Zhang Chen laughed dumbly. He had heard of Bai Qingshu's name a long time ago. He thought he would meet him at the school trial, but he didn't expect to meet him here. Qinglong Zhang Chen, you are indeed worthy of the name of a monster. I really feel ashamed to be on the same level with you. Humph, in the eyes of ants, Humans and elephants are existences that they cannot contend with. This is nothing. Bai Qingshu, you must have seen the gap between you and me. For Lu Meng's sake, I have shown mercy. Don't make a mistake. Zhang Chen spoke coldly, and his deep voice made the eardrums of everyone present hurt. He exuded a terrifying aura like a prehistoric beast all over his body. Bai Qingshu swallowed his saliva. Only when he really faced Zhang Chen could he experience his power. The pressure like the abyss and prison made it difficult to breathe. He had the strongest animal-type devil fruit in the world. A terrifying physique that was almost invincible in the same realm. A master of physical skills who mastered all 6 styles. He controlled the legendary armed color domineering. The elementalization that he was proud of was useless in front of him. Bai Qingshu looked bitter, and his chance of winning against Zhang Chen was almost zero. But I have tried my best, and I will have an explanation for the Hao family's accountability in the future. As the most recognized #1 prodigy in Xinjiang, Bai Qingshu has her own pride at least before Zhang Chen's unknowable realm spreads all over the world. If I shrink back in front of the mountain of martial arts, how can I climb to the top of martial arts in the future? Zhang Chen, if you insist on doing this, I, Bai Qingshu, will have to ask you for advice. Your courage is commendable, but you have no chance of winning in the future. Zhang Chen shouted coldly. How do you know if you don't try? White mist lost area. Bai Qingshu slapped the ground with one hand, and a huge amount of white smoke filled the entire area. Interfering with the 5 senses, blocking the sight, the friction sound of the smoke flow hindered Zhang Chen's hearing. Zhang Chen stood there and was indifferent to the white smoke that filled his body. Bai Qingshu was able to use the smoke to change the environment that was beneficial to himself and weaken the opponent's perception at the same time. Bai Qingshu's use of his own smoke fruit was indeed unique. Unfortunately, Zhang Chen didn't buy it. He calmly operated the domineering of observation, and Bai Qingshu's actions in the smoke were completely exposed. Seeing Bai Qingshu moving quickly in the smoke and moving everyone in the hall to the outside, Zhang Chen did not stop him. Do you still care about the life and death of others in the battle? It's a pity that good people may not live long in such a world. Zhang Chen secretly complained. After Bai Qingshu transferred everyone, he was about to mention Hao Sei and send him away. Zhang Chen moved. Hey, hey, hey. Letting the culprit go in front of me, I am so embarrassed. At the same time, the air sank into the dantian, and the burning hot breath gathered in the throat. Flame breath. Opening his mouth and spitting, the red fire column rushed straight to Hao Sei and the two. The scorching high temperature burned everything, and everything turned into ashes wherever the flame breath passed. White vine impact. How could Zhang Chen discover his actions without time to react? In a hurry, he could only gather all his strength to compress the smoke and spray it out. The white smoke turned into a shock wave and collided fiercely with Zhang Chen's flame breath. A violent explosion sounded. In an instant, the flames splashed. The whole roof was blown up. The red flames and white smoke entangled and rushed straight into the sky. The entire combat power appraisal hall shook violently as if there was an earthquake. Outside the building, people who knew or didn't know were outside the green belt and watched the building covered by white fog make a loud noise, and then the red and white smoke rose up, and they were immediately panicked. The flames and smoke that shot up into the sky could be seen even by people several kilometers away. That seems to be the direction of the Combat Power Appraisal Center. What happened? Is there a fire? But the people present at this time were even more shocked. The strongest genius in Xinjiang is fighting here. Qinglong Zhang Chen vs Wuyin Bai Qingshu. Who is the strongest genius in Xinjiang? Maybe we can see the result today. The excited people took videos and posted them on their social media. This place is also attracting more and more attention. At this time, only 1 kilometer away, Hao Sei's uncle Hao Niubai was rushing towards the Combat Power Appraisal Center with a group of people from the Supervision Department. Hao Niubai looked up and saw the huge red and white smoke rising from the direction of the appraisal center and felt something was wrong. More than 10 minutes ago, he received a distress message from his nephew Hao Sei, saying that he was being beaten. He was almost in danger of death. Natural smoke fruit. Who is fighting the girl from the Bai family? It's so dangerous. Brothers, step on the accelerator. We're almost there. A few minutes later, the smoke gradually dispersed, and Bai Qingshu collapsed to the side, with blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. His hairpin fell off, his black hair was messy, and his slender white arms barely supported himself. A bitter smile at the corner of his mouth. It's not that I don't protect him, it's just that Zhang Chen is too strong. Hao Se was terrified. Bai Qingshu lost too quickly, and he couldn't buy himself too much time. He had already secretly contacted the person in charge of the supervision office in this area, his uncle Hao Niubi. But man proposes, God disposes. Uncle, come quickly. Your nephew is really going to die now. Didn't you say I can't kill you? It seems no one can save you. Zhang Chen stared at Hao Se with a half-smile, exited the half-beast transformation and returned to human form. He slowly accumulated power with one finger, and shot out a finger gun to blow up Hao Se's head. Stop! How dare you! An embroidered spring knife collided with the finger gun as fast as a startled bird. There was a loud bang. The roar of metal clashing came, and the embroidered spring knife burst open. Uncle, save me! It turned out to be Hao Se's reinforcement uncle, Hao Niubai, who arrived in time. One finger broke the knife. Seeing his beloved knife destroyed, Hao Niubai's eyes were solemn. Good boy, you are so cruel. Hao Niubai helped Hao Se up and carefully checked his injuries. Looking at Hao Se, who was unrecognizable and swollen like a pig's head, if he hadn't heard his shout just now. Hao Niubai really couldn't connect him with his elegant nephew. Uncle, he's the one who hurt me. You must avenge me. Hao Se pointed at Zhang Chen with hatred in his eyes. If you look at me like this, I don't mind digging out your eyes. Zhang Chen looked gloomy. Looking at him in public, I can't kill him today, I was tricked. How dare you? Who are you? I am the director of the supervision office in this area under the Qingcheng Supervision Department. You spoke wildly and hurt people in front of me. I must question you. Hao Niubai looked stern, and his men surrounded Zhang Chen. Ha ha ha, so what if you are the director of the supervision office? Can you confuse right and wrong? The surveillance cameras here are all on. Your nephew is looking for trouble and shooting and killing people first. According to the laws of the Han Alliance, I have unlimited right to self-defense and counterattack. Don't think that I dare not touch you because I am an official. You try first. Do you think I dare to kill you on the spot? After the smoke cleared, seeing the people from the supervision department pouring into the combat power appraisal center, the people around also bravely entered it. After hearing Zhang Chen's words, they were filled with indignation. That's right, it was this Hao Se who provoked Zhang Chen. It was obviously a personal grudge, but he shot and killed civilians indiscriminately. Why is your supervisory department the supervisory department of the Hao family or the supervisory department of the Han people? People whose relatives were seriously injured came forward and demanded severe punishment for Hao Se. Listening to the words of Zhang Chen and the people around him, Hao Niubai was immediately in a dilemma. Hao Se was furious and shouted, "You bunch of lowly people. If you die, you die. At most, you can pay some money. Is 10 million baileys enough for each person?" Hao Niubai hurriedly covered Hao Se's mouth. "My little ancestor. How can such a thing be said in public? Isn't this going to arouse public anger? It would be a headache if the opponents of the Hao family used it." Hao Niubai was complaining at this time. Wait, you are the new rising star of Qingcheng, the most powerful animal-type devil fruit user, Qinglong Zhang Chen. Hao Niubai secretly said that he was in trouble and was not easy to mess with. I can't say I am the strongest, but I can crush your head. Do you want to try? Zhang Chen said lightly. Anyway, he probably couldn't fight, so he could just talk. If he really angered Hao Niubai and asked him to take the initiative, he might find a chance to crush the heads of the two Hao family members. As a member of the Hao family, a big family in Qingcheng, the director of the supervision office, and a famous bronze-level strongman in Qingcheng, he usually responds to everyone's call. When has he ever suffered such humiliation? Just when he was about to take action, he was stopped by his men. He pointed at Bai Qingshu, who was bleeding from the corner of his mouth and injured beside him. Then he pointed to the news on the broken LED display above the appraisal hall that Wu Yinqingyan had reached the Black Iron Broken Army level and Kaido of the Beasts had reached the Black Iron Supreme Unknown Realm. The meaning is self-evident. Hao Niubai was immediately like being poured with a basin of cold water. It is obvious that Wu Yinqingyan is Bai Qingshu. Kaido of the Beasts is Zhang Chen. And the person who fought with Bai Qingshu before was undoubtedly Qinglong Zhongchen. Looking at the blood flowing from the corner of Bai Qingshu's mouth, there is no doubt that Bai Qingshu was injured in the duel with Qinglong Zhongchen. Zhongchen was able to injure Bai Qingshu, who was almost invincible with elementalization. There is no doubt that Hao Niubai could not fight against him at all. He almost found the way of Zhongchen, the thief. This subordinate can give him a promotion and salary increase in the future. The current plan must find a way to take Hao Se away safely. Hao Niubai pinched his throat and became righteous again. The supervisory department is handling the case, all the outsiders please go away. Regarding this violent incident, our company will enforce the law impartially and properly arrange the follow-up work. We will not protect anyone. The suspect Hao Se injured people first, and our company will take him away for investigation. Qinglong Zhongchen, considering that you are fighting back in self-defense, you can go back first. Hao Niubai's serious and impartial attitude is no longer like the way he protected his child before. Although everyone is dissatisfied, they can't find fault. Seeing that the overall situation has been decided, Zhongchen is too lazy to complain about it. There is plenty of time to take action secretly, so he can only let him leave calmly. Before leaving, Hao Se's face, which was swollen like a pig's head with silver handcuffs, gave Zhongchen a middle finger. His lips moved slightly as if to say, "See, I said you can't do anything to me." Shameless. Zhongchen, who wanted to let him go temporarily, saw Hao Se's provocation. How could he bear it? His fingers clamped Hao Se's arm with the middle finger raised as fast as lightning and twisted it hard. Blood and flesh flew everywhere, and Hao Se's right arm was broken. HMPH. I'll collect some interest first. Zhongchen snorted coldly. He was extremely upset after being frustrated for the first time. Hao Se, this fool, really dared to act like that. Ah! Hao Se's heart-wrenching scream suddenly broke out after a moment of dullness. Zhongchen, how dare you? Do you really want to be an enemy of my Hao family? Hao Niubai was also shocked, and suddenly became angry and annoyed. At the same time, he secretly hated Hao Se for not knowing how to appreciate him. Why not? This guy mocked me for no reason and caused great trauma to my body and mind. It's not too much for me to fight back, right? No, everyone. Quote. That's right, he deserves it. This second-generation idiot takes advantage of his good father to do whatever he wants. He should have been taught a lesson long ago. Quote. Some people who were busy with things hid among the crowd and mocked him. How dare you? Who is gossiping? Stand up. Hao Niubai glared at everyone, trying to find the person who made the noise, but as he yelled, everyone stopped. Lord Hao has great authority. What? Only the governor is allowed to set fires, but the people are not allowed to light lamps, right? Zhongchen, don't be so proud. Our Hao family will not let this go. It's just the Black Iron Realm. It's just the division of combat power in the same realm. If you don't know, you might think you are in the unknown realm of the Saint Realm. You are so arrogant. Quote. Hao Niubi glared at Zhongchen fiercely, picked up Hao Se and rushed to the hospital, picking up the broken meat. I don't know if the doctors at Sacred Heart Hospital can reattach my nephew's arm. Looking at the piece of flesh and bone in his hand, it should be okay. Bai Qingshu also looked at Zhongchen with complicated eyes. Don't worry, I will keep an eye on Hao Se and won't let him mess around, especially with Lu Meng. Thank you very much. To be fair, Zhongchen still admires Bai Qingshu. Although she is a bit saintly. The difference between a saintly woman and a saintly fool is that one demands on herself and the other demands on others. Although Zhongchen does not think he is a good person, it does not affect his recognition of good people. As Zhongchen, Bai Qingshu and other parties left, the situation gradually calmed down, but the conflict between the two sides spread throughout Qingcheng at lightning speed. Qingcheng was shocked to see a rare military-level warrior in decades. And a rare and unknowable realm in the world. Zhongchen vs Bai Qingshu. Both parties are known as the strongest geniuses of the younger generation in Qingcheng. Both have monster strength that must ignore age. Their confrontation set off a huge wave in Qingcheng. The aftermath of this incident has just begun. And the conflict between Zhongchen and Hao Se, and even the people who died in the conflict, how many families were broken up. Wife and children were separated. In the huge network, it was just a tiny splash. Except for the relatives of the parties involved, no one paid attention. No one cared. This world is so cruel, death. It's just a common thing. All living beings live ordinary lives and die humbly. In a high-rise building in the center of Qingcheng City. In the huge transparent French window on the top floor, Hao Gang, director of the Qingcheng Supervision Department, overlooked the entire city. Neon lights flickered in the distance, the tall buildings were brightly lit, and there was a bustling traffic under the tall buildings, a peaceful and tranquil scene. Only when you are in the center of this city can you truly feel the beauty of the world, a life that is completely opposite to the cruel reality on the edge of the city, a life that only the strong can control. Hao Gang shook his empty wine glass and looked down at the city below with an intoxicated look. Secretary Song, I heard that my disappointing son went shopping with the girl from the Bai family today. Yes, I heard that the young master accompanied Miss Bai to the Combat Power Appraisal Center to appraise the combat power. Behind Hao Gang, a middle-aged man dressed as a secretary and wearing gold-rimmed glasses whispered softly without being humble or arrogant. Okay, go out more often. If my son can marry Bai Qingshu, it will be a great honor for me as a father. The Bai family has really given birth to a good daughter. I believe that in this appraisal, the girl of the Bai family may become the first genius in Qingcheng with the combat power of the broken army level. When Bai Qingshu's name was mentioned, Hao Gang couldn't help but be stunned. As a well-known silver-level strongman in Qingcheng, he had to feel ashamed when facing Bai Qingshu, who was only black iron. A girl who was only 18 years old, sitting on the natural devil fruit that made countless people envy and hate. It was obviously only black iron, but even Hao Gang didn't dare to say that he could definitely beat her. The young are really formidable. If we can marry the Bai family, and the Hao and Bai families join forces, who in Qingcheng dares to be the enemy of my Hao family? Hao Gang, who was nearly half a century old, couldn't help but imagine. Secretary Song next to him looked calm, but secretly complained in his heart. Marriage. No, sir, you really don't see what kind of character your son is. He is such a proud daughter of heaven. He has strength, beauty, and background. You must be crazy to like our young master. In the quiet floor, both sides were lost in thought. No, it's bad, sir. One of Hao Gang's men rushed to open the door of the office. It's so noisy, how can it be disgraceful? Hao Gang looked unhappy, and Secretary Song immediately scolded the man. I'm sorry, sir, Secretary Song. Young Master Hao was beaten. His face is almost disfigured. His arm is also broken. What? The wine glass broke with a snap. Hao Gang immediately asked his men about the whole story. When he heard that Zhang Chen had injured his son, he was furious. Zhang Chen, is he the guy who got the strongest devil fruit of the new generation of animal system? A guy who got lucky dared to bully my son. He is looking for death. Hao Gang immediately ordered people to arrest him. The subordinate trembled and said again, Master, your news is outdated. Zhang Chen passed the Illusion God Tower Black Iron Unknown Combat Strength Appraisal today. What? 2 consecutive exclamations came from Hao Gang and Secretary Song at the same time. Hao Gang's feet almost trembled. How is it possible? Someone bring me Zhang Chen's online video. Soon, with the help of Secretary Song, Zhang Chen's video was projected on the wall of the office. Hao Gang carefully observed the battle between Zhang Chen and Wang Jia of the Blood Wolf group, without skipping a frame. Impossible. Zhang Chen in the video is indeed very powerful. With advanced physical skills, he developed the Azure Dragon fruit to a considerable degree in a short period of time. Just based on the combat power shown in the video, at most he is at the level of breaking the army or close to the level of destroying the city. Unless, Hao Gang and Secretary Song looked at each other as if they had thought of something, their eyes full of shock. It's domineering. The subordinate heard the domineering second the word immediately came to mind. Yes, yes, yes. I heard that Bai Qingshu of the Bai family did say the word domineering when he fought with Zhang Chen. No wonder Bai Qingshu, who was known as the invincible natural system, lost to Zhang Chen. What? It's really domineering. No, what? Zhang Chen and Bai Qingshu fought. Ha, what? Bai Qingshu lost. Hao Gang and Secretary Song were shocked and asked 3 questions in a row. The 3 messages were like a bolt from the blue. You're going to die if you say half of your words. I've been watching the video for a long time and you're telling me this now. Hao Gang, who was very well-mannered, couldn't help but curse the subordinate at this time. The subordinate looked aggrieved, and you two big guys didn't ask. Secretary Song waved his hand implicitly to signal him to get out, and the man immediately felt as if he had been pardoned. Hurry up and leave the room. Hao Gang's old face was red with anger at this time, and he was no longer as calm as before. Old Song, my son has been bullied and nearly disfigured. For the sake of our reputation and for my son, our Hao family cannot remain indifferent. Let's quickly think of a solution. Secretary Song looked solemn, and after thinking for a moment, he asked tentatively. Master, why not use your power to suppress others? You are the head of the supervisory department, and you are born to stand at the commanding heights of order. Just send people to arrest Zhang Chen on trumped-up charges. If he doesn't resist, he will fall into our hands. Resist. That's even better, there will be no place for him in Qingcheng. This move is so cruel that even Hao Gang is tempted. After thinking for a moment, Hao Gang sat down dejectedly. It's useless. Do you know what the unknown means? It means that he will be the peerless genius of the entire human race. We may be considered as a big shot in Qingcheng, but we are nothing in front of the entire Han Alliance. Perhaps at the moment when he passed the unknown realm detection of the Phantom God Tower, I am afraid that all his information has already appeared on the desk of some big shots. Secretary Song was speechless. Since you know that he is not easy to mess with, you still want to mess with him. Isn't this pure sick? As if seeing Secretary Song's concerns, Hao Gang explained that Qingcheng is far away from the emperor. Even if a big shot takes a fancy to Zhang Chen, his tentacles cannot extend to Qingcheng in a short time. If you want to deal with Zhang Chen, you must openly clear your mind of opposing him. Secretary Song understood that the current Han Alliance, the cities are like chess pieces scattered across the vast land. The cities are like isolated islands in the deep sea. Outside the city are endless monsters and terrifying fog. The only way to travel between cities is to take an airship embedded with seastone. It is said that seastone only exists in places with sufficient spiritual energy. It has mysterious power, can avoid the invasion of fog, disgust monsters and sea kings, and can even restrain and weaken people with abilities. It is very rare. Master, if that's the case, I have another plan. It can solve the dilemma of the Hao family. Oh, Lao Song, please speak quickly. Hao Gang sat upright and waited for Secretary Song's next words. My lord, haven't you noticed yet? Zhang Chen is ruthless and has no taboos. Compared with the hatred between him and the young master, Zhang Chen and the Blood Wolf Hunter group really have a life and death feud. When Zhang Chen's information spreads further, the people of the Blood Wolf will be more anxious than us. You mean, drive the tiger to eat the wolf, and kill someone with a borrowed knife? The two old foxes smiled at each other and understood each other's intentions in an instant. As long as they find an opportunity and add another weight to the scales in the hearts of the Blood Wolf people, it will be enough to induce them to take action against Zhang Chen. In an unknown space, three majestic figures like gods and demons sat quietly on both sides of the long table, and the thrones behind them exuded a supreme and holy brilliance. The aura lingering around the figures distorted the space and blurred the figures. I am afraid that if someone were to see them in person, they would not be able to see their faces clearly. At this time, the three existences that could not be looked at directly were watching the three videos on the table carefully. One of them was a blue dragon hidden above the clouds, with thunder and lightning storms raging around it. Thousands of monsters were wiped out in a natural disaster-like scene. In the second part, a figure walked under the mountains and rivers, and the atmosphere was cracked when he raised his hand. The terrifying shock wave ran across the four directions, and the earth was instantly shattered. Countless monsters wailed in pain in the doomsday environment. In the third video, a young man strolled among the monsters, and the sky became darker with every step he took. Behind the boy was already boundless darkness. It was incompatible with the clear sky in front of him, and it was clearly divided. In the strange phenomenon, endless monsters rushed towards the boy and were swallowed up by the darkness silently, and died silently. After a long time, the sound began to sound in the unknown space. A king will rise in 500 years. Its rise is sudden, and its fall is also sudden. Is the brilliant era finally coming? Will they be the people of destiny predicted by the left prime minister? Not necessarily. In the era of great contention, they may just be the vanguard of the times. The real protagonist of the era may still be hidden in the market. A dragon trapped in a shallow shoal must know that a golden scale cannot be kept in a pond. Once it encounters wind and clouds, it will turn into a dragon. After so many years, this level of genius has finally appeared again among the new generation of young people. No need to belittle yourself. Everyone here has reached the unknowable realm when they were young. It's just that as the realm becomes deeper and deeper, it becomes more and more difficult to replicate the invincible power of the same realm. HMPH, 18 years old, the unknowable realm of the Black Iron Realm, have you seen it? Even if you are 18 years old, I'm afraid you don't even know what domineering is when you are here. You, a man from the left of Gaozu's family, holding a 3-foot sword to conquer the world. The strength and weakness of the moment is nothing. People can lose 100 times, but they must win the last time. Okay, stop arguing, whether they are or not, they are destined to be the unrivaled geniuses of our human race, and once they grow up, they will also be the peak combat power of our human race. In the future, whether they are stepped on by the real protagonist to achieve their fame or not, it has nothing to do with us. The key is now, do we need to provide them with special protection? No need, the geniuses have their own way. There is no need to interfere with their growth trajectory, the ruler of the next 1,000 years, whether it is true or false. There is no way before the king. Only open up the road for yourself. The king's road can only be opened up by the king himself. Second the motion. Then let's move on to the second topic. About the mystery of Zhuo Zhang's death. You and I both know that the so-called murderer is just a scapegoat. The imperial capital is still hiding a terrifying force that we don't know about. As long as the river map and Luoshu are still in the hands of Zhuo Zhang's beloved disciple, find him, monitor him, and protect him, the murderer will always reveal his tracks. It's just hard for us. I'm afraid we will be very busy during this period without the river map and Luoshu. Don't always think about slacking off. The world is not peaceful anymore. Qingcheng, the back mountain of the He family. The back mountain of the He family welcomed an uninvited guest at this time. Looking at the man in black clothes in front of him, with a cold expression and a sharp aura all over his body, like a sword out of a sheath. He Wei on the opposite side took off his sweaty training robe to reveal his body full of training scars, and changed into a clean and comfortable robe with the help of the servants. What's the matter? You came here specially. From the standpoint, our families are rivals, because you and I specifically turned down the afternoon training plan. I know, thank you very much. But business competition is insignificant, strength is everything, isn't it? He Wei snorted coldly and waved his hand to signal the servants to go out. Tell me, what can I do for you? It's about a monster. That internet-wide uproar, you have seen Yang Yang's video, right? And his recent battle with another monster, Bai Qingshu. Qinglong Zhongchen. As the black-clothed man slowly narrated, He Wei gradually widened his eyes. You are crazy. You actually want to challenge Zhongchen and Bai Qingshu at the same time in the school trial. Excuse me, you have never faced Zhongchen, and you don't understand the horror of that man at all. Even if you are known as the strongest swordsman in Qingcheng for decades, you will not be his opponent. The black-clothed man smiled slightly, looked up and looked directly at He Wei, and his eyes seemed to flash with dazzling light. That is a young hero, with a passionate and lofty ambition. The ambition to change the sun and the moon. Of course I know they are monsters. Are you willing to live in the same era as monsters without competing with them? He Wei's face was complicated and his heart seemed to be touched. You must know that people like us who practice cultivation can behead. Blood can be shed, but the will to be strong must not be weakened. Quote. The man in black spoke again with a firm voice. Besides, in the school trial, because of the special nature of the competition, the strongest does not necessarily mean the first. As long as you can win, no matter what the method is, now defeating Zhongchen and Bai Qingshu has long become the goal of all aspiring young people in Qingcheng. Just to make them lose once. Whether it is in terms of combat power or in other forms. They have already formed an alliance with each other. He Wei, let's form an alliance. Quote. It has to be said that the man in black has a talent for public speaking. As for defeating Zhongchen, in the now rumored appraisal center incident, the dandy young master Hao Sei is the real winner in life. He started the incident, and the two monsters fought for him. In the end, He patted his butt and retreated in front of Zhang Chen. What a style! Perfectly demonstrated how to crush monsters in terms of IQ. Thinking of this, He Wei couldn't help but sigh that life is impermanent. The big intestines are wrapped in the small intestines. How many goals that aspiring Tianzhao dreamed of were easily achieved in the hands of the unlearned dandy. Just like how many big guys in the game spent crazy Krypton gold just to draw SSR, but in the end a newbie drew a miracle. This world is so absurd. He Wei looked up at the sky and sighed. You were right, if we don't fight now, when will we fight? Let's form an alliance. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.